Let's get nasty on a Tuesday afternoon. It's the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN. Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh, Jamie Rivers here. Our guy Anthony is off for the rest.
Did you almost forget your own name?
Yeah, I almost said it wrong. Yeah, it's gonna be one of those days, CD. Trust me, it already has been one of those days. And this microphone is wrestling me right away. It's not tightened. It's like I don't know what Tanner did to this thing. Goodness gracious!
You had that morning grip on it.
Yeah, apparently he did. Apparently he did. Our Cardinals still red hot.
Cardinals red?
Yeah, no?
They were red. That's their team colors.
So much to get into today regarding your Redbirds and the funk, we'll call it, that they're in right now. Oh boy, this could be an interesting one for so many reasons. All right, Cardinals got the Rays tonight. They got a left-handed pitcher on the bump for them. What's his last name again? Springs. Our guy Springer.
Jeffrey Springs.
And the Cardinals have not hit well against left-handed pitching at all this year. Yeah. Well, there's one spot in this lineup. I'm wondering if this player is dressed today.
If he's playing?
If he's playing.
Who would that be? Oh, save it.
All right. Get into it. All right. At one point in this lineup game, you'll know.
Oh, man. No, he's playing.
We'll
he's
see.
playing.
Just start it off.
Show us Mason win.
I'm watching the Futures game, and this thing's all over Instagram. It's like, this guy threw a ball 100 across the. That's awesome, but like, how many throwing errors does he have?
Shut up! All right, so we got our good buddy Mason Wynn leading off. Left-handed pitcher, he's got to come right back with Grand Slam Tommy Pham.
Let's do it.
Show us Tommy Pham.
I mean, I've been in some real pain before. You know, I've been stabbed.
That's so interesting.
It's just the greatest audio ever.
Backstory on that. I need to know.
We'll talk to him one day about it.
You probably won't tell
We'll go out. We'll take him out for a beer.
Let's do that.
Seems safe.
You and I will be fine.
We're fine. I ain't worried. All right. 3-hole was Contreras yesterday, was it not?
Was it Willie?
It was.
Willie in the
yes,
3-hole. Yeah,
it was.
Yeah, do it again.
Show us Wilson Contreras.
DH.
No.
Adjustment. Check.
He's probably catching today.
I don't know. Left-handed pitcher. You need a right-handed bat at the bottom of the lineup.
Do you, though?
Yeah.
All right.
Seems like the right thing to do. All right.
This was Goldie yesterday. Oh. Show us Paul Goldschmidt.
Gold! Rich with gold! Gold!
Okay, so this was Nolan Arenado yesterday. I'm sure Cardinal Nation saw the 9th inning where Nolan Arenado didn't even move, basically.
He was tired?
No.
It was hot yesterday, right?
Yeah, other guys were moving pretty good.
They were down by a lot. It was hot.
But that's
no chance to make the play is what they told
Yeah, but
us.
what did it look like, though?
It looked like he was dogging it.
It looked like he just didn't care. He gave up. So I'm wondering, the last time there was a problem like this, Nolan Arenado didn't play the next game.
I don't think it was a problem. I think, sometimes you catch the,
You thought that looked
end
good?
of a clip and it doesn't look like you need to see the full clip.
I did.
Well, I'm saying like the
I went
runner,
back and
how
watched-
far down the line he was.
I saw the expanded
Who
view.
was running?
The catcher for the
Was
other
it
team.
the catcher? That's what I thought.
He was dragging a plow behind him.
I was hoping it wasn't. I thought it was, but I was hoping it wasn't.
I think it would have been
I was hoping it wasn't.
I think it would have been really close. I still think the runner would have been safe. But how many times have you watched Nolan Arenado on that charge the ball, get it, and fire it to first for at least a call where the umpire better get it right?
Yeah. I still think he's playing today. You want me to do it?
Would you bench him?
Can you afford to bench him?
Why not? You've been getting fist pumped by everybody in the league since the All-Star break.
Well, yeah. Go.
No.
Oh.
More like a punching motion. Go ahead. I refuse to do it.
Nolan Arenado.
He's a Gold Glove winner and
Come on,
All-Star.
Ollie.
Oh, listen to Mr. Gold Glove over here.
Come on.
Come on, Ollie. You're better than that.
Yesterday, this was.
I think he's
Same
rolling
lineup?
out the exact same lineup. I mean, why not? Look what it did yesterday.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
Okay. You do
Show
that.
us
That's your guy.
Alec Burleson.
Kind of closed my eyes and swung at it and did what I wanted to do.
Bully to the rescue!
Yeah, do what I want to do?
And this has got to be your boy Donnie. Go for it.
Show us Brendan Donovan.
No, no, no.
So, okay.
Oh, is it Gorman?
Okay, maybe it's Gorman.
A lefty Gorman?
You need some pop.
Yeah, but lefty?
Then that would mean Paez is probably not playing. I think Wilson is your catcher.
Yeah.
You probably got Gorman.
Yeah. Well, you got
What?
Newt.
It might be Newt.
Burleson. You already got your outfield.
Do you?
I think this is Nolan Gorman. I think he gets a chance to play baseball now for a chance. For a
Go
little
ahead.
bit. Show us the popcorn guy.
Get your fresh organic popcorn.
Get your popcorn ready.
All right, so there's our second baseman. Now,
Well, maybe he. So Burley in right field. you
Burley
think?
and right,
So maybe this is Paez.
or
And then Scott. Because I don't think it's Newt batting. What did Newt bat? Did he?
we don't even have Newt on there.
Wasn't
today.
on there yesterday.
So Newt's playing today. He's got to play. He didn't play yesterday. He's got to play today.
So you think Gorman is ahead of Newt?
Yeah, I think Newt's going to bat eighth.
You have at it. You go ahead.
Well, who else is going to go there? Paez?
Paez.
But then who's your outfield?
Scott is your center fielder.
Scott.
Burley, Scott, and Pham.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I think you're right. I think this is Petey Pages.
You like Petey Pages.
Show us Petey Pages. There we go. See, Carey, that's how we work. That's how we work through
together.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's called a team.
And
Victor Scott. Show
ahead.
us Victor Scott.
Great Scott.
Too fast, too fast.
Focus. Speed. I am speed.
all right, run it, Marshy.
All right, leading off the shortstop, Mason Wynn. Batting second in left field is Tommy Pham. Batting third, your DH, Wilson Contreras. Your cleanup hitter, first baseman, Paul Goldschmidt. Batting fifth, third baseman, Nolan Arenado. Batting sixth in right field, Alec Burleson. Batting seventh, second baseman, Nolan Gorman. Batting eighth, catching, Pedro Paez. And batting ninth in center field, Victor Scott the second.
Back. Stay fair.
Go foul, go foul!
I don't believe what I just saw.
Home run.
All right, Marshy, you're still way ahead. What do you got?
Give me Alec Burleson tonight.
All right. And then it's me.
Yep.
I'm going with my guy, Tommy Pham. I'm dedicated to him right now.
You know what? I'm going to take a bat off of the bench.
Are you?
Ooh.
Those big, powerful right bats that you have?
Yeah, no, I don't have any of those. Give me Lars Newbar.
All right.
It looks like Anthony is choosing Wilson Contreras tonight.
There you go. It's good. Good pick. All right, there you have it. That's your Cardinals lineup. They're playing the Tampa Bay Rays and Dylan Carlson tonight down at Busch Stadium. So we'll see how that goes. Coming up here next, I want to talk about Nolan Arenado. We just had a little bit of a discussion during the lineup game about that, but I want to talk more about this guy and his impact on the St. Louis Cardinals. Coming up next year, 101 ESPN. It's a Fast Lane here at 101 ESPN. Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh, Jamie Rivers. And we talked about it quickly during the lineup game when it came to the 5-hole. And I wondered if Ollie Marmol might sit Nolan Arenado down for a game. Get him off his feet, as they would say in the manager's office. The reason I asked that is because there has been more than one occasion in the last little while where Nolan Arenado just seems disengaged. The ground ball, when he almost blew it, he ended up being safe on the play. I forget what team it was. It was the Pirates, Marshy, or who are they playing when he dribbled one down first base, didn't stop running completely. Then the first baseman and the pitcher had a bad exchange, and he managed to run around and be safe, but he almost blew it.
I can't remember the exact team, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Then there was a play not too long ago. The ball was hit behind Roycroft, and Nolan Arenado kind of botched it. Brendan Donovan had to save him, grab the ball to stop it from being an inside, an infield double at that point. And then we got the complete lack of effort last night, 9th inning. I know the score is 6-0. And I know the likelihood of him getting that runner out at first base is probably slim. But when you're on a team that's telling their fan base that we're competing for a playoff spot, we made trades at the deadline, we're trying to put together a playoff push here. It looks really bad, Carey, when your highest paid player, who's supposed to be one of your leaders, just, stops playing.
Yeah, the optics aren't good. I mean, even if he was unable to throw the runner out, even if he, got to the ball quickly and just ate it and said, I'm not gonna attempt him, but to not even give the effort, it is a bad look. Now, in his mind, maybe he's saying, well, there's no way I would have gotten him, so why try? But again, the optics of it, when you see it, when you're watching it, it makes you feel like, oh, this guy does not care, which I don't believe that to be true about Nolan Arenado. I think he cares. He might, I don't know if you can care too much, but he cares enough to where he's going to give his best effort, even if, and Jamie, you've been around guys like this, even if they only care because of how it impacts them.
Or even how it looks.
Right. They care because they want themselves to look good in a good light. So I don't think that he doesn't care. I don't know what that play was, but I will just chalk it up to just being a moment in this season that is, it hasn't been a great season for him. It's been a good season, but it hasn't been a great season because we've seen great seasons from him, both offensively and defensively. But I would just chalk it up to being a moment. Now, if you continue to have moments like that where guys are clearly going to be out if you give great effort and you don't, if you continue to have moments where you could potentially be safe. There was a play against Colorado, I was at the game, where I thought he could have ran the play out and would have been safe. So, and that was about a month and a half ago. So there are moments where maybe you could question it. I don't want to question that specific play, though, just because I don't think that was what that was.
I don't know. It didn't look good for me. I just don't like it.
And I think it's hard to question people's motives. Like, unless you just know that this guy is dogging it, he's not giving effort. Yeah, you're down. You're getting your butt kicked. It feels like it's over. But I want guys. We were watching the game a couple of days ago, and Wilson Contreras hit a ball, I think, to shortstop and was hauling butt down the line, trying to make it to first. Like, those are the types of plays. Now, you're not going to do that every time, but if you have and he made the play close. But if you have a chance to get on base, to try to get to second, to try to score a run, I think you have to do that. If you have a chance to throw a guy out, you have to do that. You have to give effort so that the players around you know that you are fully invested in what we're doing.
Yeah, I see that for sure. I'm wondering if there's a bit of a pattern here. And Marshy, I know that you found some quotes, so why don't you read those to us?
Yeah, so this is from Benjamin Hockman's column from the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. Nolan Arenado said, "We've got to play better than what we're playing. I take a lot of ownership in that." He was the only one to have a lone extra base hit, or he was the only one to have an extra base hit in yesterday's game. Also went on to say, "We've got to show up and just play better. I don't even know what else to say. We've got to pitch better. We've got to hit. We've got to score. And these recent few games that we've played have been tough. By no means is it over. It hurts to lose like this, like we have the last few nights. But we have a chance to start a new series. Hopefully we get a win, we move on, and keep moving."
So he's saying all the right things at that point. But here's where it gets tricky for me with Nolan Arenado is he's also clearly said in the past that sometimes he's his own worst enemy. When things aren't going well for him offensively, it affects him defensively, it affects his demeanor. And even, it may have been Benjamin Hockman that he told this to. I'm not going to for sure say that, but I know that he did mention something in spring training about how when he gets that way, he can be sometimes prickly towards some of the young players.
Yeah.
Which is why the Cardinals were so adamant about getting in extra leadership in the offseason, being very specific with people that they targeted. So I'm wondering, at the same time, CD, like, we see some of the body language things and whatnot, but what do we think the clubhouse is like right now?
I mean, when you're losing, I would assume
like
that
losing sucks no matter what. But
no
like,
question.
Specifically surrounding Nolan Arenado.
I would assume they still look at him as a veteran leader. I would assume that they still believe in his ability to play the game at a high level. I would assume that they still trust that at some point this season, in the next 49 games now, in the next 49 games, that he will turn it on and they will make a playoff run. I would assume that that's the thought because you've seen him have success his entire career. So I don't know that you just write him off.
49 games less, CD. We haven't seen anything but what we've seen so far.
Well, I agree with that, but there's always going to be that hope there that you think it can happen. As a teammate, you have to have that belief that your best player is going to be your best player. Because if he's not, it doesn't matter. Like we are not going to have success if our best players don't show up. That's just the name of the game. That's any game, any team, any sport. If your best players don't show up, we can hope and wish all we want to. Oh, we might make it to the playoffs. No, you won't. If your best players, your highest paid players don't show up, it's not going to happen. And if you do make it, you're not going to have success.
Do you think Nolan Arenado, in his time as a Cardinal, has lived up to the expectations that we put forth when they traded for him?
I do. I really do. It's been a bad year this year for him, and we're being very critical. And I'll take ownership for it, too. I'm being very critical of the individual as well. But let's go back. Every season he's been here, he has been a Gold Glove, Platinum Glove, Silver Slugger. Like, he's met the expectations, I think. I mean, a couple of years ago, we were comparing him to, Ryan O'Reilly with his work ethic and the way he plays and his intensity and all that stuff. So I think that's why it's disappointing now when you see a guy that is so dedicated to his craft give up on a play, like whether it's offensively or defensively. It's just that to me is where the red flag goes up, and I'm worried now that you've lost the player. Never mind the fact that he doesn't have the pop like he used to. Just that you've lost the player. And if you lose a big piece of the pie like that, just emotionally from your team, that's a lot, man.
What's worse? Obviously losing him physically in the numbers and the execution, that's probably the one that stands out. But when you lose a player mentally, is that just as harmful? It's
sometimes more harmful because that player starts to drag other players down. Yeah, and it's because even though you can see that a guy has a bad attitude, there's still certain players that are drawn to him. There's still buddies on his team that hang out with him, and then when he's got that wah-wah-wah attitude, it spreads in a negative way, and guys then start to get more frustrated. Or even guys that are just teammates that aren't, like, maybe not even his best friends, are watching this, and they're getting extra ticked off now because they're out there, less talented players than him, giving everything they've got, and he's sitting there, woe is me. So that can be frustrating.
And then there's another element that you can add. If you're a younger player and you see that player doing that, you feel like, well, I can do it too. Like at some point, I can act like that as well. I can get away. Well, you didn't say anything to him. Like for me, it's on, the team leadership and on the manager and the coaches to speak and say, hey, it's just not good optics. It doesn't look good. Not that your intention was to not give great effort or not that your intention was, but it doesn't look good. And what you're doing could start to filter throughout this entire team and younger players starting to think and see that our best player isn't even giving effort. Well, what do we have to play for?
Yeah, and that clips the manager at the knees too.
There you go.
Because the manager's put into a tough spot to where, let's be honest, he didn't bench Nolan Arenado and maybe one singular play doesn't do it. But then how do you turn around and be Tommy Tough Guy with the young guys, and when they repeat the same behavior, that's how you lose a locker room.
I told you the story about James Harrison the year he won Defensive MVP, and it was a play. It might have been the year before. He was an All-Pro that year, but we were playing the Jets. It was Mike Tomlin's first year, and James Harrison, Lamar Woodley was a rookie, and he fell down, didn't tackle Brett Favre, didn't sack him in the backfield, and just laid on the ground and just didn't get up quick enough. And Mike T's pausing the film. He's like, Wood, if you get up, get your butt off the ground, you'll probably make that play. You probably can make that play. But your butt is laying on the ground, not getting up. James Harrison was doing the exact same thing. He didn't say a word to James Harrison. Coach Tomlin didn't. The back of the room, I hear a voice. We all hear a voice. Debo, yeah, you too. Get your ass up. And that was James Ferrier, our team captain, talking to James Harrison, future defensive MVP. You could have made the play too, Debo. The coach didn't do it, but our team captain did. And so sometimes you have to have that moment, and that's in front of the entire team. Nobody is safe. We're trying to win football games. We're trying to win baseball games. If you are not giving the effort, then you got to be called out.
So who do you think on the Cardinals is that guy? And you can't say Tommy Pham.
They don't have one.
Because it's too soon for Tommy Pham to do something like that.
They don't have one. No one.
That's the problem.
No one is going to do that. That's my opinion from the outside looking in.
Yeah.
There is no one to call out a star player. James Ferrier is probably not a name people know as well as James Harrison. James Ferrier played like 16 years in the National Football League at Mike linebacker and was our team, like we call him Potsy. He was the team captain. Offense, defense, special team. He was the one you went to. It wasn't Ben. It wasn't Willie Parker. It was James Ferrier is who you went to talk to. It wasn't Hines. Hines was as well, but James Ferrier was our captain. And so that's not a name a lot of people know. It doesn't have to be a superstar player to call out other superstar players. So I don't know that they have.
But you need a guy with a ton of respect.
Yes. Yeah.
I do think the Cardinals have that in waiting. Like a Brendan Donovan comes to mind. I feel like he's a guy that could eventually fill that role, but I don't know if he has enough term in the league to essentially be James Ferrier. I mean, he could.
You could, but you risk it there. That's where you risk causing a bigger rift. I've been in these situations before where you've got a guy who steps up, and maybe it's too early in their tenure, and then it causes friction rather than the veteran guy that's being called out embracing it as like, okay, you know what, I have to be better. It gets met with friction because, like, who the heck are you?
Yeah.
What have you done?
What have you done?
What have you done in this league? So either way, look, and some of the text line going off here and whatnot, some people think I just don't like Nolan Arenado. That's not the case. I just don't like some of the behavior right now, and I'm certainly not happy with the production this year overall.
Well, you two have seen this from some teammate in your previous experience. You've seen this. You know what this body language looks like. You can call it out because you've seen it before.
Yeah.
So you're just simply calling it out.
Still tough. But Arenado in the 5 spot. I keep waiting. Every game, every series, I keep waiting for him and Goldie to eventually figure some things out. 49 games left. Time is ticking away this year. Speaking of Paul Goldschmidt, we saw something today online that would suggest that maybe Goldie might be back wearing the birds on the bat next year. Well, would you guys mind still having Goldschmidt on the roster if he was utilized as a lower order bat, making a quarter of the money? We'll find out next here on 101 ESPN.
Hey, it's Carey, and if you are a contractor or you own a business that needs recycling, then you need to learn about Scrap Mart Metals. Even if you are a person selling your home, or maybe you got a garage sale and we're unable to sell those things, Scrap Mart can help you get those things and get you money as well. They are tailor-made for your business if you own one, and they can help meet your schedule and budget. Scrap Mart understands for job site cleanup for contractors can be a mess. If you set up a business account with them, they will recycle that metal. It's one less thing you have to do. If you own heavy equipment, it breaks down often. You have to repair it over and over again. At some point, it's going to break down for good, and you're going to have to end your suffering. Scrap Mart will come and get it out of your way. They will haul your equipment to one of their convenient locations and get you a check the same day. If you want to haul it away yourself, they have 3 convenient locations: Valley Park, Peevely, Jonesburg. If it's metal, they will buy it. It is recycling made easy. They offer a convenient drive-on scale, and they have the highest payout. You'll always get top dollar for your scrap metals. Just visit them at scrapmartmetals.com. My guy Lucas can talk to you about setting up a business account. It is simple. Again, you don't have to own a business. If you got stuff you need to get rid of and need to sell, Scrap Mart will come and recycle it for you. You can do it there. That's scrapmartmetals.com, and tell them Carey sent you.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cardinals lose yesterday to the New York Mets, 6-0 the final score. The Cardinals had 1 extra base hit in that game. The Cardinals have an opportunity, though, to get back in the win column tonight as they take on the Tampa Bay Rays. Sonny Gray on the mound going up against left-handed pitcher Jeffrey Springs. First pitch is at 6:45. Do you mind still having Paul Goldschmidt on the roster if he is utilized as a lower order bat? heading into 2025. We're going to discuss that next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
Fastlane here on 101 ESPN. Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh, Jamie Rivers driving the bus here today. Paul Goldschmidt, that's been a hot topic all season long. He's had some struggles this year. He had a little bit of a surge there about, 5-6 days ago? 3 home runs in a weekend. Take that. But the big question is Goldie's on the last year of his deal. And Carey, Marshy, I'm interested in knowing if you guys would extend Paul Goldschmidt for one more year at a lower salary and have him be a platoon first baseman / bat off the bench type player.
I think the Cardinals are going to re-sign him.
I didn't ask you that.
What did you ask me?
I want your opinion. Would you? Carey Davis.
No.
Okay.
No, I mean, because, again, Jamie, you and I are older men, and we played in a game, and we became older. No problem. We became older in our careers, and we understand. I watched a guy retire in the hot tub. Like, he just couldn't do it no more. He's like, yeah, my body won't do it. I can't do it anymore.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, oh, my God, are you serious? Yeah, I've never seen him again. Since that day,
listen, parts unknown now.
He walked out of the hot tub. I have not seen him in person again. He just left. He said, "I'm done." My body. This was in OTAs. I hope that's my guy. It was OTAs. It wasn't even the season. OTAs. He said, "I can't do it no more." He got out of the hot tub, and I never seen this man again in my life. It's crazy, right?
Oh, it happens, yeah.
So, the older you get, that's how your body starts to feel. And I don't know if Paul Goldschmidt is at the spot where his body is breaking down, or it's harder to recover because the older you get, the more time it takes to recover. But no, I don't think I would re-sign him. I think you have younger players on the rise.
Is there a price that would excite you? Like, because here I'll fill in our listeners on something here. There are some rules pertaining Goldie's contract and extension if the Cardinals wanted to do something like that. There's a rule in the CBA that says that Paul Goldschmidt, the maximum amount that the Cardinals could cut his salary is by 20%. Mm-hmm. And that would still leave Goldie making $17.6 million next year, which is a really big price, in my opinion. Or the Cardinals can let him get to free agency, but then he's a free agent. The phone's on, and if somebody calls, you could lose him to a team. Let's say that we talked about Houston in the break. The Astros want him to retire back where he's from, so they offer him, $2 million or $3 million more than what the Cardinals would be willing to give him. At that point, I think if you're the Cardinals, you just say, okay, well, good luck.
Yeah.
But I do feel like Goldie, all things being fair, he wants to retire a St. Louis Cardinal, is what I'm led to believe by several people in the organization. So if that's the case, could you let him get to free agency and then just bring him back, let's say $5 million, $6 million? Or would he be so insulted by that he wouldn't do it? Because Adam Wainwright made, 17, 18 million his last couple of seasons here. And the last season wasn't great for Wayne, let's just be honest. Mm-hmm. He had some injuries and father time and all that, but I don't know.
I would say, depending on where you envision him playing, is he in 2025 your starting first baseman? Well, then you're not going to pay him $5 million.
But let me ask you this. In your opinion, does he still hold value defensively?
Yes.
Because he's really good.
But what we want or what we need, I mean, I don't think anybody can play first base. I'm not that naive, but I think what we want and what we need is power in the middle of the lineup. And if he's unable to produce that, at the rate that we're accustomed to doing, or, you know, again, if his skill set is beginning to diminish, if he's BK and Ferrario had Buster Olney on a couple of days ago talking about him having to cheat on the fastball. He thinks he is, because that's what older players have to do. They have to start early, right? When you get older, you got to get up a little bit earlier to get the bones and joints moving and lubed up.
Your quick twitch muscles don't operate the same.
It does not. No. So if he's unable to do that, or have that potential to do that, then yeah, you should probably move on. And if he's going to be a bat off of the bench, you're not paying that guy $17 million to play 60 games a year, right? No. You're paying him 60 to play 115, 130 games a year. So I don't think that there would be a need for that if he's not playing every day.
Marshy, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that it's probably wise to move on from him, but you know, the question of having him lower in the order, yeah, you can't pay him $17 million if he's going to have a year like this.
So let's say he gets to free agency. What's your threshold? Like, let's just say he gets to free agency. He tells Mo, "Listen, I'm not answering the phone for anybody else, but X is the dollar amount that I need to play for the Cardinals."
Oh, geez, I don't know. I don't know what he would essentially be worth. His defense definitely plays still. I mean, maybe, yeah, $5 million, $8 million. I don't know. I'm no financial guy by any means, but...
No, but, like, I think there has to be a threshold.
Yeah.
Like, if you get to $10 million, like, that's too much.
I think so.
No, unless, hear me out. What about a flat base salary of like $4 or $5 million
with incentives,
with bonus incentives that clearly benefit the team?
I could do that,
and then he can make up to $10 million if he hits all of his benchmarks. And if he does, that means he's contributing,
and that's fine. The thing is, he cannot be one of those guys that you are consistently relying on, like he is this year.
No, he has to be. He has to be an accessory.
He has to be an accessory.
Is he starting? Well, in this scenario?
Probably
starting first baseman because of how good he still is defensively. And you give him a chance in the 7-hole in your lineup, and you see where he goes from there.
So I think if the Cardinals don't offer him the $17.6 million, I think he goes to free agency and says, the hell with that, I'm going to see what I can make on the open market.
But that's okay, true, but as an athlete, you also have to be aware of what your current value is at that time. And I can guarantee that Paul Goldschmidt doesn't think he's worth $20 million right now.
Okay, but if no one offers you the contract that you're looking for, then you take what the Cardinals are offering.
Yeah.
Because that means nobody is interested in your services, and you have a clear depiction of where you are and how you're viewed. And so if I'm him, if the Cardinals don't offer me that 20% salary cut, which if they offered it, I'm signed, you would have to beat me to the office to sign it right now.
I blew both hamstrings getting there.
You're like, hey, I'm already here. You know,
brought my own pen too. I'm
ready to sign. Yep. But if they don't offer that, then I think he goes on the open market and sees where he can find a spot that is willing to pay him what he thinks he deserves.
We get a text here from 314 says another team will pay him what he wants. Then fine, he can go play for that team.
Yeah, that's completely fine.
Like at some point, John Mozeliak and the Cardinals have to be like dig their heels in and be like, hey, Paul, here's our threshold, and if you think you can get more, then good luck.
Yeah.
And here's what your role is going to be. Like a loose comparison is, I envision a Paul Goldschmidt almost like an Alex Steen. For when the Blues won their 2019 championship, Steiner made good money still, but he got demoted within the lineup, but still contributed in ways that he could. And is Paul Goldschmidt like Matt Carpenter? Could he accept a role that was certainly bigger than what Carp is giving the Cardinals this year? Because Goldie can still play defense pretty damn good. So, but can he some kind of a hybrid role for Paul Goldschmidt within that clubhouse? Something like off the bench, first base, DH.
If he's willing to do that. Like he might. One of the hardest things is convincing a player that has been a starter, a league MVP, hey, so now your role has changed within the last 2 years. You're not going to play every day. We're going to pay you $5 million. You're going to bat when we got 7th inning, 8th inning moments versus left-handed pitching. You're going to be the first bat off the bench. That's what we want from you. And you're telling Paul Goldschmidt, a league MVP, this is what your role is for 2025? there's no way he's going. I don't think he would sign up for that. Why would I? I would take my chances. I think he would take his chances making less money with the promise that if he outperforms another player, he has a chance to start every day.
Then good luck.
And so that's where you are.
Good luck. He's not going to a contender.
Maybe not.
He's going to go to a team that'll pay him to play every day, and he can expect to lose a lot, more than he is right now.
Maybe. Possibly.
Worst case scenario is you move on from him, and then he just bounces back and then becomes Paul Goldschmidt again.
Oh, that'd be fun.
That what you're hoping for, Marshy?
I'm not hoping for that at all.
Marshy, why'd you put that in the universe?
Because anything's possible with this franchise.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Well, it's going to be an interesting decision for the Cardinals either way, whether they pony up and pay the $17.6 million and keep Goldie, or they let him get to free agency and try to keep him that way, or do they just let him walk? Lots of decisions for John Mozeliak heading into the end of this season and in the offseason. We'll continue here on 101 ESPN. We come back. What's trending?
what's going on in the sports world with What's Trending Now. Brought to you by Goodwill. Donate a car and get tickets to the St. Louis Cardinals.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN with Jamie Rivers and Carey Davis. I'm Andrew Marsh, and it's time for What's Trending. Gentlemen, American Cole Hocker pulled the upset of the Olympic track meet today, outracing favorites Jacob Ingebrigtsen, if I'm saying that correctly, and Josh Kerr to finish line in the 1,500 meter. Hocker won the race in an Olympic record 3 minutes, 27.65 seconds, pulling from 5th to 1st over the final 300 meters to beat his personal best by more than 3 seconds and set an American record. Gentlemen, we watched this live before the show started, and we were going nuts in the office over a track meet.
I've been trying to get Jamie to understand the excitement of the Olympics and track and field.
I love
gave
the
him some information about track and field athletes, and he was really excited.
I'm all in now.
Yeah, so I think it's fun. I mean, that was a 1,500 meter race, 4 times around the track, and just watching them still be able to kick at the end and finish. And Cole Hocker was able to find an inside lane and just chase down the young man from Great Britain. It was a really good race.
I found the Olympics to be entertaining this year. In years past, sometimes it's kind of been like ho-hum. I've liked a lot of the storylines this year. The guy from Sweden who broke the pole vault record last night.
He was amped, too.
He was amped up. That was pretty cool. And watching Simone Biles do her thing is always cool. And the track and field is awesome, man. I love that. I'm usually the sprints guy. I like the 100, 200, 400. I like the 4x100. Yeah. But some of these other races are pretty cool to watch, too.
It's fun to watch it. I mean, it's the best athletes in the world doing what they do best. And it's crazy to, not finish. I saw the record for the 100-meter dash. Carl Lewis won it in 1984, I believe. The person that finished last in this race would have beaten his record in 84.
It's crazy.
That, to me, is just the evolution of speed, of sports, strength and conditioning, how much better these men and women are in comparison to when, 10, 20, 15, 20 years ago. It's great. It's fun to watch.
Yeah, it's been entertaining to say the least.
Guys, our friend of the show, Charles Barkley, intends to remain with TNT Sports through the remainder of his contract. He did announce in June during the NBA Finals that he would essentially be retiring, and now that is not the case. He signed a 10-year contract extension with TNT Sports in 2022 and plans to see that through. I find this to be awesome. I don't know what they're going to do considering everything that's going on with the NBA and TNT, but maybe we'll see him more on the hockey broadcast. I need some more Chuck in my life.
Yeah, so I was texting with Chuck today, just briefly. I saw that, so I threw him a little congratulations and, wished him nothing but the best. And we started chatting a little bit about, what this might look like. A couple of things is that TNT owns that show that they do. Mm-hmm. The NBA. Inside the NBA.
Yep.
So Chuck and Shaq apparently have talked about co-producing that show and running it just independently off of TNT.
Oh, nice.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, so they would have some money involved in it, but TNT could still, it would be like a simulcast almost, where you watch the game and you flip over to TNT at the halftime or the post-game show and you watch it. Chuck believes there's still an audience that will change the channel to go watch them.
100%.
And he's also thinking about being on the panel for TNT with the NHL like once a month, getting on the panel and asking crazy questions and talking crazy about hockey because he loves hockey that much. And of course, they've got NCAA hoops that they cover as well. So there's lots of work for Big Chuck to do. But I know he loves working at TNT, so it's nice to see that he's got everything kind of sorted out.
Carey, you've been a part of joint practices before the season started, correct?
I don't think we had joint practices.
You guys never did that? Really?
I don't think so. I don't think we did. Maybe in Tampa, but I don't think so. But I've seen enough of them to know how it goes.
So did you see the video of Malik Neighbors?
Yeah.
I did not see that one.
I think whenever you have a joint practice, right, first of all, practice in general. Like when we were playing, it's hot. It's like 100 degrees. It's every day. It's tedious. It's for 2-3 hours a day. You're eventually going to fight your own teammate, like the guy that you love, fight, bleed, sweat with during games, but you're going to fight him at some point. I know for a fact that if I have this energy pent up for 2 or 3 weeks and not able to actually have live competition, I'm definitely going to fight an opposing player, an opposing team's player. No one can be kicked out of a game. No one is going to be fined. There are no real penalties for said altercation. So, yeah, it's going to happen. And it happens. It never fails. It's almost every single joint practice you see a fight break out.
Yeah.
But that happens amongst teammates as well. So it's not abnormal, but just expect it to happen anytime you have joint practices.
So, Jamie, you didn't see the video. Malik Neighbors, I believe they're going up against the Lions in their joint practice. He's with the New York Football Giants, and he was their first pick in this year's NFL draft. Basically, after the route was run, he comes back and does a little side swipe with his arm.
I don't know who the shiver.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. I don't know who the defender was for the Lions, but basically hits him in the head, and then a brawl ensues. I mean, is this a good look for a rookie who, especially a top draft pick, or do you just think it's like, hey, heat of the moment, like
I think it's great.
Competitive? It was Kirby Joseph, ILO. Fighting the lineup.
Oh, there you go.
But the dumbest part to me, I've never understood this, and I never did this. There's no point, and I mean absolutely no point, of punching somebody in the helmet. Like, there's nothing to gain from it. Rip his helmet off and punch him in the face if that's how you feel. Hit him with a body shot. But punching a man in the face with a helmet on, not the brightest crayon in the box.
Well, I think punching a man in the face with a helmet with a cage on it, with a face mask, is not the brightest.
There you go.
Because I've punched people in the face with helmets on.
But it was open.
But you still hit the helmet more often than not.
But there's a chance, more of a chance to hit someone in the face.
There's a chance of getting a piece of that face every single time.
There you go.
Yes.
You punching somebody with a face mask and a helmet on, you're going, it's not really smart. Rip it off.
I'm with you on
uppercut, body shot. Those are the things that I enjoy.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you just tackle him?
Man, because then everybody pulls you off, and then, then
or
people
they dogpile you.
Who wants nobody?
1,400 pounds laying on top of you.
At the bottom of that pile?
No chance.
Nobody. I can't breathe.
Especially with no refs. Screw that.
Yeah.
Never mind. All right, that was what's trending here in the Fast Lane of 101 ESPN. 101, by the way, has your chance to win a pair of lawn tickets to see Green Day with special guest Rancid next Thursday, August 15th at the Hollywood Casino Amphitheater. To just text in to win these free tickets, but you got to answer the trivia question correctly. My guy, Carey Davis, mentioned a teammate's name that called out James Harrison in a team meeting. Who was that teammate? Text in to 314-399-9646, and we'll get a winner, and you'll get some lawn tickets to see good old Green Day. American Idiot. Imagine that. All right, coming up next here, we're going to talk about the Cardinals lacking urgency, or is their roster simply just not good enough? Probably the latter. We'll find out next here, 101 ESPN. Stella Artois has partnered up with Hot Ones to bring you hot wings and hot trivia here in St. Louis. We've had 4 qualifying events already, and now we're ready for the finale, which will be August 8th, this Thursday night at Helen Fitzgerald's from 6 to 8 p.m., where there will be a winner for this trivia contest, and they'll also receive the Staycation Grand Prize. It's a fantastic event. I'll be hosting it this Thursday night. Scott Rizzuto has hosted a couple. It's been a lot of fun. It's trivia where they've got the teams up on the stage. Every question that's asked, if they get the question wrong, they have to dip their wing into a hot sauce, and every wrong answer, the sauces get hotter and hotter and hotter, and it's really a lot of fun. And even though you can't be participating unless you're one of the finalists, you can still show up. Attendees can enjoy some free Stella samplings and your chance at attendance prizes. It's a lot of fun. You're going to love it. All you have to do is get out to Helen Fitzgerald's from 6 to 8 p.m. this Thursday. Again, me, Jamie Rivers, I'll be hosting it. And if you have any more questions that you have, you can always check out 101ESPN.com for more information.
It's easy to just point out the runners in scoring position, but some guys, quite honestly, are feeling good about where they're at, and some guys aren't. And I know that's kind of been the case throughout the course of the whole year, but it's reality. And today's no different. There's guys that are pretty tired and are grinding through it, and there's other guys that just don't feel great about where they're at offensively. And then you facing 4 guys that are really good in Chicago. We face some pretty good arms there, and then this guy's been doing really well, and it just adds another layer of difficulty. You got to be able to score runs. We just haven't been able to the degree that we need to.
That's Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol. Compliments of Bally Sports Midwest. That was post-game last night, where the runners in scoring position has become a real issue. Cardinals not doing well with runners in scoring position, and you certainly see that in the result as well. They've suffered 3 losses to the Cubs out of 4 games, and then they got the doors blown off them last night by the New York Mets. By the way, both teams, the Mets in the wild card race and the Cubs, are nipping at the heels whenever they get a chance to. They're right behind the Cardinals in that wild card race as well. So I guess the question of why are the Cardinals not doing well at runners in scoring position? It's really intriguing to me, because the game shouldn't change in theory. Mm-hmm. In theory, you get guys into like second and third, first and second, bases loaded, whatever your runners in scoring position scenario is. Your at bat should be the same as it's always been. Now, I know the pitcher's going to elevate. He's going to try and do his job that much better, but Mark McGwire talked about it. I know it's usually Mark McGwire, but Mark McGwire talks about just see ball, hit ball.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't want to know how many of those opportunities were with less than 2 outs, because if you got a guy on third and, it's less than 2 outs, sacrifice fly works really well. Like to score a run in that situation.
We call that a productive run in the fast lane.
That a productive out. Everyone else calls it something else, but we like to call those productive outs.
Correct.
When a run scores.
Yeah, that's because it's actually productive.
It actually helps.
Yeah.
So I wonder how many of those happened with, less than 2 outs. But the opportunity, they went 0 for 7 yesterday. They went 3 for 25 in the series against the Cubs. And so you start to question, like, okay, who is getting these opportunities? Wilson Contreras went 0 for 2 yesterday. Donovan went 0 for 1. Wynn 0 for 1. Paez 0 for 1. Pham 0 for 1. Burleson 0 for 1. Like, those are guys that I didn't say Nolan Arenado. I didn't say Paul Goldschmidt.
Mm-hmm.
Those are guys that have been, driving in runs and relying. Yeah. So the question and the concerns become, how do you fix it? Like, how does it change? What needs to change? The one thing that I keep hearing, and he talked about it earlier, guys just aren't feeling right. If I'm being honest, nobody cares. Like, no one cares that you're not feeling, like, at some point, maybe that's an answer at the beginning of the season, but nobody cares about your sorrows. The Mets don't give a damn that you don't feel right. The Pirates are glad that you don't feel right. The Braves are laughing that you don't feel right. The Diamondbacks are clapping their hands, and so are the Padres. Mm-hmm. Keep feeling bad, fellas. Why the hell do I care? No one cares that you don't feel right. Feel better. Eat a Snickers. You're not yourself when you're hungry. I don't know what you need to do. Nobody cares that you don't feel right, man. So figure it out. I don't know if that's an excuse. I don't know if that's Ollie trying to cover for his guys because they aren't performing.
I think it's a coach trying to cover.
It probably is. But my answer would be, no one is feeling bad for your sorrow, your demise, your struggles. No one cares. They're happy that you're struggling. They're happy that you're 3 for 32 in the last opportunities with runners in scoring position. They don't care. Like, nobody is worried about it. So figure it out and be better.
Well, nobody cares because they're going through the same thing. Every roster in Major League Baseball, this is the tough part of the season. You've played a whole bunch of games already, and you're looking for the finish line, and it's 49, 50 games away. So to your point, Carey, nobody cares. Now there has been questions surrounding the Cardinals about urgency. The players that are up at bat with the runners in scoring position, are they playing with urgency? Is your roster playing with urgency overall? Are they forcing? Is there lack of urgency? Well, Ollie was asked post-game about urgency, and here's what he had to say.
That's not the issue. Yeah, players have urgency. Staff has urgency. Urgency is not the case here. Yeah, everyone's pretty aware of our situation, what we need to do to get to where we want to get to, so I wouldn't hang it on urgency.
Now, when I first heard that, I thought to myself, it's Ollie kind of being defensive again, Mm-hmm. But then when I listened to it again, I don't disagree with him. I don't think it's a lack of urgency. I think it's a lack of execution. Mm. I think that the players, so you pointed out like Pham, Contreras, Burleson, Donovan, these guys all season long have played with a level of urgency. They've been very, very reliable players for you this season. So I don't think at this point of the season that Brendan Donovan is stepping in there with runners in scoring position and has no urgency.
Right.
I don't think Tommy Pham is playing without urgency, or Wilson Contreras for that matter. But I do think that there's a lack of execution. And where that lack of execution lies, I don't know. I'm not smart enough in the baseball world to be pinpointing guys at bats and breaking them down and saying this is where it's going wrong.
Right. Do you think, because there was a follow-up question, and he asked, well, if it's not urgency, what is it? And it was kind of, there was no real answer. Like, it was not,
but Carey, if I asked you that question, if I said, hey, about players, and your players are pressing, they're putting in the work, but what is your answer then?
When I heard it, you heard that it was execution. I heard maybe it's a talent thing. Like, maybe there's not enough, like the execution may not be there because the talent isn't good enough. And you're not, if that's the case, and I don't know that is, I think they have plenty of talent, but if that's in comparison to other teams and your lineup, your roster compared to other teams, then you're not going to say that either. You're not going to say, well, we're urgent. Like, guys are pressing. They're trying to get it done. We just ain't got the guys to get it done. Like, you're not going to say that. So maybe it's execution. Maybe it's, just getting the job done when it's presented. Maybe it's the talent level is not as good. The pool of talent is not as good as other guys. I don't think that that's the case, but that could be, that could have been one of the options or one of the things that he was kind of alluding to as well. Yeah,
I think there's probably a good percentage of this last little stretch of runners in scoring position where maybe there's a talent issue, like when Pages doesn't cash a guy in, or Siani when he was healthy. Like, you're not really counting on those guys to be in those moments, but when you talk about just the 7 guys or 7 opportunities yesterday alone, and you're Contreras, Pham, Burleson, Donovan, like, those are guys that I think they're talented enough.
Right.
Because they've done it. So I don't know what the answer is ultimately. I don't know how to fix it. I wish I did. I'd call Ollie myself and say, hey, by the way, I got
I don't think this is a manager issue though. And I think that's why he is saying, it's not urgency. Guys, no, they are, and it probably is just the execution. They aren't getting it done. And Jamie, you know this, there is a level of I don't give a blank when you have to have in those moments. Like, not if the moment isn't too big. That's why some players excel in playoffs, because the pressure is just that much more, and some players don't. Like, we talk about Clayton Kershaw and how great of a pitcher he is, how future Hall of Famer, but for whatever reason, come playoff time, you don't know who this guy is. You can't find him. Because some players and some players rise to the moment when there's a lot of pressure. Some players don't. Some people shrink in that moment, and they become so nervous about what's going to happen right then. And it's unfortunate. I don't know if that's what's taking place, but they got to find some guys that rise to the moment and the occasion when it's presented to them.
I just find it so fascinating with sports how one particular player could just be feeling good, right? Ollie talked about, well, the guys aren't feeling good. Well, some guys were feeling really good like a couple weeks ago. Like, where's that shift? Obviously, you guys played at the highest level. Like, how does that just shift from a player doing very well and then all of a sudden just falls off the face of the earth? Like, why is that?
Well, sometimes there can be some little injuries, too, that happen. Like, you're feeling good one week, you're swinging the bat well, and you strain an oblique, or you tweak a groin, or you tweak a hammy somehow, and all of a sudden that throws things off. It changes your swing just a little bit because your body has to compensate for how it's feeling. And the grind of the Major League Baseball season, that's probably a very real thing. I know that a lot of people don't view baseball as a very physical sport, which it isn't, but there's a lot of running. There's a lot of stops and starts and go and swinging the bat hard, mind you.
I've been hurt since 2 Saturdays ago for my hip.
The home run derby. So there are some things that can happen that change things a little bit, and it's just like any sport. The athlete sometimes has confidence, and sometimes the confidence is rattled a little bit. And I think of a receiver or even a running back that's got to catch the ball. Yeah. If you start getting the yips a little bit, all of a sudden that ball feels like it's greased up when it's coming to you, rather than I've got this.
And you start panicking when your number is called. Okay. All right, here we go. Like you get in your head and you start thinking about the moment instead of just reacting in the moment. And that's all sports is. How do you react? How do you respond in a split second to make a decision to either hit the ball, make a big play on a guy that is trying to get to the goal? How do you respond in that moment? That's what sports are. It's not overthinking it. And maybe these guys are overthinking it, but again, none of those other teams in the National League care that you're overthinking it. Nope. You got to find a way to win.
Got to find a way to get the runners home. It's getting more depressing by the day looking at the standings and watching the Cardinals drop to what is right now 4 games back of the 3rd wild card spot. So to say that the next stretch of games is important for the Cardinals, I think that's...
Would you say that?
I would say that's probably pretty true. We're actually going to get into that a little bit later today. All right, but coming up next, we've got Are You Sold? So your texts to the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646. Or you can jump in the snake pit over there on YouTube with the Air Alliance YouTube channel. Get in there with your Are You Sold? Next, here in the Fast Lane. Save money on your car or home insurance with Tracy Bibb, the Bibb Agency, and Allstate Insurance. They have some of the most competitive rates out there. And with Tracy Bibb and the Bibb Agency, you're going to receive that personal attention from your agent that you deserve. Let's be honest, most people don't even know who their insurance agent is. It's a 1-800 number that you call, and you probably get somebody different every single time. Well, not with the Bibb Agency. They're going to get to know you, going to treat you like family, and she'll also work with you to make sure that you have the right type of coverage for when something happens. Not if something happens, because we know it's inevitable, when something happens. And at the time, they will take care of you. They'll walk you through the process and certainly make sure that the stress is not there. And also, Tracy Bibb and the Bibb Agency, they circle back once a year to make sure that you're aware of all of your policies and the coverage and the rates and all that stuff. They want to make sure that every year you're getting the most coverage for your dollar. So please pick up the phone today and call Tracy Bibb at 314-328-4260. Again, that's 314-328-4260. It's no fib. You're in good hands with Tracy Bibb. Lane here on 101 ESPN. Again, that Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646. It's time for Are You Sold?
All right, let's start off with Grant Francis Fan Club. Are you sold? Wilson Contreras isn't part of the clubhouse issues. The team's best stretch in the last 2 years was the 2 months he was injured.
Yeah, I'm not sold on that at all. I think that Wilson Contreras is... I think he's a big piece of the glue in there, and I don't find that there's a direct correlation to the team's success based on him not being in the lineup. I think that's crazy.
Yeah, the narrative that one of your best players you're better without, that's kind of crazy. I don't think that he's part of the problem.
No.
I think he's part of the solution, and maybe you're just playing better teams now. Maybe your pitching hasn't been as effective. Maybe the hitting hasn't been as effective. You know, it's a lot of factors that are going into it, but I definitely don't think that Wilson Contreras being back in the lineup is why you're all of a sudden losing games.
No, I don't think so. And to go one step further, like, you would hear something. There would be something alluded to within that clubhouse that, you know, and in fact, Wilson Contreras probably would have rumors maybe floated out at the trade deadline or something like that. Like, if he's that much of an issue, then you probably want to move on from that. But I have not heard one thing like that about Wilson Contreras as far as being a good teammate, being good in the clubhouse. I certainly don't think that team's better without him.
Yeah.
This one comes from the Waterboy. Are you sold? The Chicago White Sox are worse than the 0-16 Detroit Lions.
Oh,
I think they are. I'm sold. And here's why.
Really?
Yeah, here's why. To lose 16 games stinks. To lose 140 games, that's even harder.
Yeah. But I would assume that if the Detroit Lions played 162 games that year, they would have
won a few.
They would have won a few.
At some point, they would have fallen into a win.
But you had the White Sox have lost 21 straight.
That's
you
what I'm
would think
saying.
that they would fall into. Yeah, you're right. Okay. It's just hard for me to say a team that didn't win one game. Not one. I had a teammate who played on that team the 0-16 team and then came and won the Super Bowl with us. Like the highest of the highs and the lowest of the lows in a 2-year span like that. Yeah. That's terrible.
That's awful. Both situations are heartbreaking.
No, I'm not sold. I think the Detroit Lions losing 16 games is embarrassing.
This next one comes from Thanks Dad. Thanks Dad text in, are you sold that the batters know how to take a little off a swing and get the hit the team needs instead of a big swing that they want?
The smart batters. You watch guys that are really talented at getting the ball in play, or a veteran, even a big slugger, a big bopper that knows he's not going to get that pitch that he wants to take it out of the yard. Those guys, how many times we talked to Matt Holliday or Jim Edmonds when we've had him on here, and they talk about just getting the bat on the ball. Yeah. Just go with the ball, go with the pitch, drive it the other way if you have to. Like, the mentality should be, I need to put this ball in play to advance the runners.
That'd be nice.
And if you get a pitch that's a big fat watermelon and you can crush it, well, then, yeah, you do. But otherwise, you're looking to move the runners ahead.
Is that a philosophy thing, or is that a batter-to-batter, player-to-player deal?
I think it's got to be a bit of a team, not philosophy, but a team strategy at times.
And we're going to swing as hard as possible at every pitch?
Yeah, no, not that one. I thought you meant put the ball, drive the pitch.
I was going to say, just swing as hard, just close your eyes and swing as hard as you can. You'll make contact. And if you hit it, Jamie, it's going to go far. And they pay millions of dollars for the ones that go over the fence.
They do.
That's why you should always hit home runs, kids.
But they also like guys with high RBI, too.
Nah, just hit home runs. Get paid a bunch of money.
You will.
Yeah, that's what they say.
From the 618, are you sold that the Cardinals should have been sellers at the trade deadline?
At the trade deadline, they were too close to the wild card. In fact, they were in the wild card spot at the time. You needed to add. Your team, apart from after the All-Star break, but your team from that May 12th date had shown you that this is a team that wanted to continue to climb up the standings and wanted to be a playoff team. At that point, I don't think, if John Mozeliak is sitting in a wild card spot, if he starts selling off pieces, Cardinal Nation, he wouldn't be able to work out his last year with the team. So people would find him. Right? Like, come on, think about that. Imagine you're sitting there in the second wild card spot at the time is what they were.
Yeah.
And you start selling off.
People would be very frustrated.
Yeah.
They'd be very upset. So I see what you're saying. So yeah, I know. I'm still not told that they shouldn't have. I mean, I guess the end of this year will be the true defining factor of whether or not they should have sold at the deadline or not. They should have sold at they did sell it last year. They should have sold more at last year's deadline.
I think they sold all the I think they sold everything anybody wanted.
All the pitchers.
I don't think anybody wanted anybody else.
You could have find a way. Make it happen.
From the 636, are you sold that the Cardinals are not lacking talent, they are lacking chemistry?
I don't think it's a chemistry thing. What chemistry do you need? Like, what more do you want from a team if going to the playoffs, making a run in the playoffs, winning a World Series is not the motivation that you have? What more can motivate and bring a team together? Like, what more chemistry can you have other than we are all, like on this show, we all have a common goal. We have great chemistry. Our goal is to be one of the top-rated shows in this time slot or at any time slot in the city of St. Louis. And then we're going to take over the world like Pinky and the Brain.
Yeah, baby.
That's what we talk about every day.
Yes.
Right?
Brain.
Yeah. Take over the world, huh?
Yeah.
If that's not enough, man, what are we here for? Like, I don't think it's a chemistry. I think they all have they are all in line with that mindset of playing well, winning games, making it to the playoffs, winning the World Series. It just it's not happening.
Yeah, it's a lack of talent. More so than chemistry.
I would.
For me, I'd say that.
You said it. I didn't.
Yeah, I said it. All right.
From the 314, are you sold that Major League Baseball's trade deadline should be moved back because of the extra wild card spots?
Yes. Move it back a couple of weeks. Move it back to August. Where are we at? Move it back one more week, 2 weeks from the actual deadline. August 15th.
What's the purpose of that? Just like, are you thinking there's be more action?
By August 15th, I will be able to tell you if the Cardinals should be selling or buying.
Yeah.
And I think that you will have more of a defined picture of who's in, who's
you think
not.
more players become available?
Probably, because you got more teams that are solidified in where they are, and they say, well, we got to go for it now. You know, Garrett Crochet sounds like the thing that gets us over the hump. Yeah, he wants to get signed. Okay, well, you know what? We can work that out. Keep him for the next 3 to 4 or 5 years. Yep. Yeah, sure. I think that defines, I think it makes the picture clearer in 2 more weeks after the deadline than where it stands right now.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think it's fun to have a lot of teams involved in the trade deadline, but it also
waters it down.
It slows it down because there are some teams that end up hanging on to a player. Like, let's just say it's the Cardinals, and they go through this dip. All of a sudden, maybe John Mozeliak says, "Oh, I'm a seller now, but I've got lots of pieces to sell now. I've got pitchers I can give you. I've got first basemen. I've got outfielders."
Yeah.
And so it increases the chance of having, bigger player movement, I think.
That's what I think as well.
Yeah.
Last one here from the 618. Are you sold if the Cardinals do not sign Goldschmidt next year, they will sign another big name bat to replace what he was supposed to be?
I'm not sold at all on that. No.
So I'm not sold on it at all because can you name the last big bat that the Cardinals signed? Not traded for, signed.
Wilson Contreras.
Okay.
Before that?
Because like McGuire was a trade. Jimmy Edmonds was a trade. Matt Holliday was a trade. Like all of these guys over the years, Albert was drafted and developed and all that stuff. So all these years, I can't remember the Cardinals spending big dollars to chase that offensive guy.
I don't.
Who is the guy that's available?
I don't even know.
What about Vlad Guerrero Jr.?
Juan Soto? Is he a free agent?
They're not getting Juan Soto.
Soto's going to be more.
What ain't getting him?
What's wrong with you all?
He's asking for Shohei Ohtani.
I don't believe, and
Brandon was right about you all. You all have no faith.
Brandon doesn't like you right now.
He doesn't.
He doesn't at all.
I have faith, Brandon.
I'm not living in a fairy tale world right now. I'm living in reality.
Yeah.
That ain't happening.
No chance.
You guys.
It sucks to say.
You guys are dream killers.
It ain't happening.
All right.
All right, we got time for one more?
No, that was the last one.
All right. Well, someone write Dexter
Fowl. Here we go. The 217, Carlos Beltran.
Okay. So that was a long time ago.
What year was that? 2004?
2012.
Carlos Beltran?
Yeah.
Was it 12? Oh, man.
When he came to the Cardinals.
Okay.
But that was towards the back half
end
of his career.
It's 14 years ago, guys.
14. Not great.
1-4. Not great. The Cardinals won't be doing that. They'll be looking for internal options, I believe is what they use.
How they call it? All right.
All right. Speaking of the Cardinals and the signings and the trades and all that, have the Cardinals lost their aura in the last decade or so? We'll get into that next year on 101 ESPN.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cardinals lost yesterday 6-0 to the New York Mets. They'll take on the Tampa Bay Rays tonight as Sonny Gray will take the mound. Going up against Jeffrey Springs. First pitch is at 6:45. If you've missed anything from today's show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. Just head to the podcast page and you'll find all of our interviews and full shows there. And it's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Have the Cardinals lost their aura in the last decade? Let us know what you think. Text into the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646. We'll dive into that conversation next, right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Lane. It's 101 ESPN. And heading into the break, had a question for listeners and certainly here for Marshy and Carey. But have the Cardinals lost their aura in the last decade? And we're going to open up the Air Comfort Service text line for that, 314-399-9646, as well as the mic drop feature. Get over to the 101 ESPN mobile app, click the little microphone, leave us a message. Tell us what you think if the Cardinals have lost their aura in the last decade or so and why, and just any example you have. I want to dive into this because I feel like for so many years, like the Cardinals were part of the standard in Major League Baseball. You had the Yankees, Red Sox, the Cardinals. Like you've got your top tier organizations, franchises. Now, from a business standpoint, a business model, and I still feel like the Cardinals are there. They're at the top of the food chain in the top 5 as far as a business is concerned. For the amount of revenue they pull in this smaller market, it's pretty impressive. But from a wins and losses and championships standpoint, like it's not an automatic anymore that the Cardinals are a contender. Just isn't.
No, and you go back 10 years, I'm looking at, the World Series participants, and a few teams on there a few times. The Astros, the Dodgers, you got the Red Sox, you got, the Giants were at the end of their run, the Braves. I think when you talk about aura, you're talking about players, like superstar players. You're talking about must-see TV, like players that people want to watch, and that's what the Philadelphia Phillies have right now. They want to see Bryce Harper. That's what the Los Angeles Dodgers have right now. They want to see Shohei Ohtani. The Houston Astros have had it for the past couple of years because they were must-see TV. They had guys that you knew played the game hard, they played it well, and they were really good teams. And so I think that's kind of what's been missing. Like, it's the teams that are fun. And I thought you had a statistic on how many wins. Marshy said this in the office earlier. 2 series wins in those 10 years?
Two series wins
helps if you turn
in the last 10 years. And, let's see. They haven't won around since 2015? No, 2014.
Yeah, that's
Did they not? 2019.
I'm sorry, 2019.
2019 was the little bump there for them. But you know what? I agree, guys. And we get lots of texts right now popping in. So, Marshy, maybe you can help grab a couple of these too. But we get one from the 314 says, absolutely, they're not feared by any team. It's evident. It's evident. Because the games where they should be winning,
Jamie, guys aren't feeling right. So,
well, whatever it is, Carey,
you gotta respect that. Okay?
Let's go back 10 years, 12 years. You get one of the worst teams in baseball coming into Busch Stadium, you're not winning. The Cardinals are throttling you. Mm-hmm. It's a guarantee. Like you're buying your tickets to get down to Busch Stadium because you want to see the bloodbath. You know it's coming.
And it's going to be fun.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be great.
It's going to be fun for the Cardinals fans to watch. you have people like I don't think it's a necessity for people to show up to Cardinal games anymore. Like, it felt like, oh, you haven't seen them play this year? Oh, you got to get down there. You got to watch them.
You don't go to the Cardinals games.
People don't go to the Cardinals games as much as they have in the past. And it's noticeable when you're watching it on TV. You can see the fans aren't showing up, and maybe some of that is some residual left over from the pandemic, where people, I think that hurt, sports teams more than they probably would admit, because people realize, I don't have to go.
People found other things to do.
Other things to take up their time.
I agree with that.
Without spending as much money as you're going to spend at a baseball game, with parking, food, the tickets themselves. If your kids want a jersey or a hat and they nag you and bug you, Dad, can I? And sure, son, you can have the jersey. That's me, usually, after you ask 45 times. I think there's so much money being spent that people found other things that they would prefer to do and still enjoy the game by watching it as opposed to watching it in person.
So how much of that do you think is the actual product? Never mind the pandemic and the money and all that.
I think that plays into it.
Because we get a couple of texts here, well, the team is boring.
Yeah.
The team is boring.
Yeah. Superstar, you have to have must-see TV type of players. Albert Pujols was that. When you have a guy that is a surefire first ballot Hall of Famer, yes. Yachty, I think, was that as well.
Of course, Yachty for sure.
So when you have those types of players, people want to watch, which is why we were talking about Paul Goldschmidt and him resigning. Is he going to resign? Probably, because he's a name that people still want to come see.
Do they?
Yeah. Those that haven't seen him play.
We get a text here from the 314. It says, I think our reputation right now is we are where great players go to be good and where washed-up players go to be paid.
Oh.
And I think that's a little harsh.
Yeah.
But I think the point from our texter is that Mo is picking up second, third-tier players. Because Sonny Gray was a big signing. Mm-hmm. But he wasn't part of that top-tier pitcher group.
Right.
Although I would argue that he's every bit as good, if not better, certainly performing way better than Jordan Montgomery is this year. Blake Snell just pitched a no-hitter the other night, but up until that point, he's been very so-so. So Sonny Gray, probably a really good top-tier signing by the Cardinals. Not probably. I think it was a good signing.
It was a good signing for them.
But then after that, you went to second, third, fourth tier to get all your players. Nobody was calling Brandon Crawford. You did. Nobody was calling Matt Carpenter. You did. I don't know how many people were calling Lance Lynn. You did. I think Gibby probably had some options, but still, he's not a top-tier player, right?
Yeah.
So the text, albeit harsh, maybe not completely inaccurate. All right, we asked for your mic drops regarding this conversation. Have the Cardinals lost their aura? And we got a Hall of Famer hitting us right away. Janet with a mic drop.
Cardinals were always very exciting and fun to watch until they installed the analytical approach. Once they did that, they got to be boring. But now they're starting to pick it up again because they're starting to actually play baseball instead of trying to do geometry.
Okay, so Janet, thank you very much for the mic drop.
Geometry is about angles, so launch angle and
I don't think Janet's wrong. I think it plays into maybe boring baseball because you feel like the players are consistently playing the game by the numbers or that Ollie's managing consistently by the numbers. So, yeah, maybe analytics has certainly played a part in some of this. I don't know. The Cardinals have definitely lost something from the 618. They have absolutely lost their mojo.
And to me, that's so frustrating because even we can go back. 2022 was a really fun season. Like it turned into a really fun season, and it was because of Albert. It was because of Paul Goldschmidt.
It was mostly because of Albert.
But Paul Goldschmidt was an MVP.
Yeah, and Arenado
was third. So
you had three big names.
You had three, and people were showing up. And then you get the letdown of the playoff series versus the Phillies, and you're like, well, that ended abruptly. Like, it was so much fun, and now it's over. And then there were so many questions. I think 2022 was a good year. as far in terms of having fun and people showing up and wanting to be at the ballpark. 23 was atrocious. And 24
That's the
is
most depressing season of baseball I've been a part of in St. Louis since I've been here.
Yep.
Since 1993. For me, that was the most depressing.
I agree. It's bad for me as well.
It's not great. Not great.
Not funny.
All right, we'll continue to revisit this throughout the show. Again, have the Cardinals lost their aura in the last decade? Please click on the mic drop feature on the app. Leave us a mic drop. We're going to dive back into that again, probably in the 5 o'clock hour, where we'll play your mic drops and continue to discuss kind of what's going wrong here for the Cardinals over the last little bit. In 15 minutes from now, we've got the Gauntlet, and we need a new Gauntlet contestant. So please text the word Gauntlet to 314-399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service text line. And our guy Marshy will pick someone from the text line or even from the YouTube Snake Pit chat to the Air Alliance YouTube page. And we'll get into that in 15 minutes. We're going to do a little football coming up next. Carey?
Foosball.
We talk about a couple of scuffles and joint practices. Well, let's talk about which NFL team could land Brandon Aiyuk. That's next. 101 ESPN. Jamie Rivers here. When it comes time to sell your home, you definitely want to be with a reliable, experienced, and trusted agent. Take it from me, get to know St. Louis's best real estate expert. That's Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria's name is her promise and says it all. Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. That's right. Gloria has mastered the home selling promise by guaranteeing upfront and in writing to sell your home at your agreed upon price and time frame, or she will buy it herself, guaranteed in handwriting. Does every agent do that? No, they don't. They don't, because they don't have Gloria Liu's database with thousands of buyers that are ready, willing, and able to purchase your home, and that drives traffic to your listing. And that's exactly what you want. More eyeballs on the product, and maybe you get multiple offers in the process, and then hopefully more money in your pocket. And the big one, get to the closing table. Gloria Liu makes make sure that you get to the closing table. All you have to do for this great service is call Gloria Liu. Tell her Jamie Rivers sent you in. Her number's 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Or you can visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. As always, Gloria and the seller must agree upon the sales price and possession date.
that's not part of my job. It's not part of my position. I think obviously as a former teammate or, teammate of his in general, any teammate that you have, you love, you respect them, you want the best for them.
Bye-bye.
That's Christian McCaffrey on the NFL Network. A little bit of a slip-up there, saying former teammate, even though Brandon Aiyuk's rights still belong to the San Francisco 49ers. CD, a lot of rumblings today regarding Brandon Aiyuk. It sounds like the Patriots and the Browns are two of the teams that are interested. I believe the 49ers have granted permission to Brandon Aiyuk and his agent to go and see what kind of a deal they can get as far as an extension goes from another team. And then they have to play the game of, can we match up a trade that works for you?
Yeah.
So nothing is solidified yet.
No, I think this is it's the cost of doing business. Like, the 49ers have had a lot of success over the last few years, been to a few Super Bowls, haven't won, but they got a lot of great players. Trent Williams is holding out as well, their star left tackle. So they got some big issues that they have to deal with. Brandon Aiyuk wants to be paid. He wants to be paid like one of the top receivers in the league. Will he get to that level? I don't think he will, but him getting a new contract is important to him. And I know people are, well, that's selfish. Play for the contract you have. Cool, but then tell the owners that. Tell the owners that they have to pay out the contract that they already signed. Like, it works both ways. You can't have it to where you're telling a player, well, you should play regardless because you're under contract. 100%. Let's make that deal then. Let's make it so when I do get signed, you can't cut me after 3 years in a 5-year deal, and I don't get any of my money. I don't get the rest of my money.
How has the NFLPA not gotten to guaranteed contracts?
Too many players.
Honestly.
Too many players. I think we would have the biggest. Yeah, too many players. Too many players to come to an agreement. Like, we have the biggest number of players, 53 men on a roster, 32 teams. Hockey has 25 players, 30 teams. Baseball has 25 players, 30 teams. Basketball has 15 players, 32 teams.
So why does the number of players, why is that problematic?
Because I think it's harder to get all of those players on one accord. And for me, if I am part of the NFLPA, you want more games, I want guaranteed contracts. We'll stop that right now. Let's make that deal. Let's make a deal where you want us to play. I wouldn't have went up to 17 games without guaranteed contracts because the owners are getting more money. Why would every
player not vote to have guaranteed contracts?
Here's the other thing. Like, from my experience, sometimes those votes, they are not done at a time where everyone is present. They are not done. And
correct.
So if not everyone is present, and then getting everyone again to understand this is what's best for all parties, not just the high-paid players, not just the rookies. This is what's best for all people involved. I think it's one of the hardest things. I think we have the weakest union of all the 4 major sports.
Which is crazy.
It is. But for whatever reason, coming to an agreement on guaranteed contracts, the owners don't budge on that. So they'll budge on more games. Okay, we'll give you guys more money. But that money goes to the top-end players, and the lower players don't really get to, reap the benefits of that. They did do away with the rookie, the scale where rookie players, the $1 million baby with Sam Bradford was making $55 million and hadn't paid. So now it's slated where you are going to get X amount of dollars depending on where you're drafted. That was helpful to the veteran players and the players on the roster. But trying to get an entire group of people to agree on having guaranteed contracts, because that to me is
it's ridiculous.
That's the one thing that if they were to have that, everybody would play out their contract. But Trent Williams knows if I don't perform well, you all can cut me and I don't get any more of this contract.
Yeah.
Brandon Aiyuk knows I play this contract 1 year, I get hurt, I may never play football again. There's no guarantee that I'll get paid. So for me, players wanting to get their money, I never have an issue with. Even if the only time, I won't say never, the only time I do have an issue with is if you are year one of a 3 or 4 year deal and you're trying to re-up again.
Yeah.
And with Trent Williams, I don't think he's trying to re-up. I think he's trying to restructure his deal so that he gets more of the money that they told him he was going to get. So, again, my problem is people want players to play regardless of the contract. Cool. Now tell the owners that.
Yeah.
Tell them that they're owed 5 years worth of money and you can't cut them after 3.
I don't disagree because all contracts in the NHL are guaranteed.
There you go.
They always have been. So it's so puzzling to me that the NFL hasn't taken the stance of, like, to simplify your vote, by the way, Carey, this is what we did in the NHL with the NHLPA is we'd have a team meeting at the rink. We'd have an anonymous vote because, you don't want to have guys that are like being forced to vote a certain way.
Right.
So everybody had their little piece of paper and be like, yay or nay, basically on this. Put it in the thing, count the votes. At the end of it, you leave that locker room knowing what your team is deciding.
Correct.
So at the time, like with the Detroit Red Wings, where I played, when we had one of these votes, the Detroit Red Wings vote yes. That's it, done.
As a team.
As a team. The team has voted yes, that we want guaranteed contracts. That you simplify it then.
Yeah.
Now, if player X, Y, or Z doesn't want to vote, that's fine.
That's on him.
That's on him.
Right.
Because the result of this locker room is going to be yay or nay.
Yep.
And now, then at least you fast track it through like the infancy stages of it. And then you guys at the NFLPA, you'd have to sit there at one point and say, okay, guys, right before week 1, we're going to strike.
But that's the other thing.
We're going to strike.
The other problem is people, and I don't know how it was in hockey, but I've had teammates who made a lot of money, made good money, and summertime they were broke.
Oh, yeah.
So you tell a guy that doesn't have any money or hasn't spent his money correctly that he has to strike now.
Well, you can go play. You can go play. All by yourself on the field out there.
I'm not going to be paid.
Okay, but you're not going to be paid. But you go out there and get your knee, you get cut at the knees, and you're not going to get paid anyway.
I agree wholeheartedly. But I think it's just the difficulty getting all people on the same page.
From a competitive standpoint, I just don't know why Brandon Aiyuk could want it. Like the teams that are involved, like
he just wants the money.
To be paid.
Wants to be paid.
I get that. I get that. The competitor in me is like, why? Like, why do you want to go? Why would you want to play for these teams that aren't going to do anything?
Well, I don't know. The teams that were listed were the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Browns, and the Patriots.
Steelers would be his best bet.
Steelers,
but I don't know. I'm looking at that roster and saying George Pickens. I know they lost Deontay Johnson from last year.
Steelers aren't going to pay Aiyuk.
But that's the other thing.
They're not.
Like, the Steelers aren't known for going in free agency and signing big players. Like the fact that they signed Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, the contracts aren't great or aren't high numbers, so they can stomach that. They're not accustomed to going out and spending on a high-priced free agent wide receiver or defense. They develop through the draft and get their guys and get other supplemental pieces in free agency. So I don't think that that's a team that's going to pay him the top dollar that he wants.
And I don't think the 49ers can pay him.
Exactly.
When Brock Purdy comes around, his contract is going to be heavy. Whether you think he's the real deal or not, he's had nothing but success since going under center for the 49ers. And you got to pay the other guy, your left tackle.
Trent Williams.
You got to pay some other dudes. There's just not going to be enough money left to pay the number that Brandon Aiyuk wants. And that's why he'll be on the move, in my opinion.
I agree. I think it's going to be tough for him to get paid in those places. Patriots got a spot, though.
And that's going to be a lot of fun for him.
It's not going to be fun.
He's going to have to throw the ball to himself.
He'll catch it. He's making a lot of money. Tuesday, Jamie.
Tuesday's
a great day.
It is a great day. It's also a great time of day. The Gauntlet. We have a new contestant coming up here, and we'll get to the Gauntlet in about 2 or 3 minutes. Gentlemen, listen up. Low testosterone is a real thing, and it happens to men in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. I mean, there is no set time to when testosterone levels will drop, which makes us feel different. We don't feel the same way we did when we're 25. You don't have that energy. You don't have that drive. Sometimes you get irritable, even depressed. And I want to change that for you. I want you to head over to Mentality. They've got 2 locations, South County location and a Chesterfield location. When you walk in, please tell them that Anthony and Jamie sent you in, and they're going to sit you down with a board-certified physician, and they're going to ask you questions about how you're feeling and then what your goals are, what your expectations are for your particular program. And once they talk to you, they're going to do a full blood panel. The blood panel doesn't lie. It's going to tell you where you're at with your testosterone, where you're at with your vitamin B, C, D, all of that stuff, so that Mentality can put together the best personalized program for you so you can reap the benefits. And let me tell you, having been with Mentality for a couple of years now, I couldn't be happier. I'm on the peptides as well. That's great for old injuries. It helps with my sleep, energy levels. All of that stuff has been fantastic. And guys, don't forget that Mentality is covered by most insurances. So please don't hesitate. Get in there again, South County or Chesterfield, or you can visit them online at lowtusa.com. That's Mentality at lowtusa.com.
Warriors, 4 categories, 1 challenger. Can you survive the Gauntlet?
Welcome back here to the Fast Lane, 101 ESPN. It is time for the Gauntlet, and we head out to our 101 ESPN hotline. Bring in Jason. Jason, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, sir. How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. Pretty good, that's for sure. Better than the Cardinals are, that's for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. All right, Jason.
No doubt about that.
You know the routine here. You've got Marshy, myself, or Carey Davis available. Who would you like to compete against today?
I think I would like to go up against Mr. Carey Davis if I can.
Mr. Carey Davis.
All right, Jason. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you. Likewise to you as well.
He said, I don't wish you luck at all. All right, Carey's headed off to the cone of silence. Jason, at this point, I need you to tell Marshy to spin that wheel, please.
Mr. Marshy, would you please spin the wheel?
Yes.
All right, Jason, what do you want here today?
Since we don't have basketball, and we go with random.
Random. Okay, what would be your worst case scenario?
Oh, hockey.
Okay, well, good news. It's not hockey, but it is football. And you've got Carey Davis today, so.
Oh, my goodness.
We'll see.
Alrighty.
We'll see. We'll see. All right, well, Marshy grabs the questions for us here. Just a quick reminder that each question is worth 2 points if answered correctly without the options. If you've got to use the options and you answer it correctly, it's worth 1 point. Of course, wrong answers are worth 0. If we're tied after 4 questions, We will go to a tiebreaker. And Jason, we will get a winner today here in the Gauntlet. Are you ready, sir?
I am ready.
Okay, again, category football, question 1. Which AFC team finished with 4 wins, fewest in the conference last season?
4 wins. AFC. Let's go with the LA Chargers. Final answer.
Thank you.
Question number 2. Last season, who led the Patriots in rushing yards?
Oh, I will need the options.
Options are Ezekiel Elliott, Ramondre Stevenson, or Kevin Harris.
I will go with Kevin Harris. Final answer.
Okay, question 3. The last time the Patriots were in the playoffs, they were blown out in the wild card round by which team?
I will need the options.
Okay. Was it the Baltimore Ravens, the Cincinnati Bengals, or the Buffalo Bills?
Oh, I was thinking the Bills, but the Ravens. I will go with, I think the Bills stuck it to them on their last time in. So Buffalo Bills, final answer.
Question number 4. The last time the New England Patriots won the Super Bowl, who was their leading rusher that season?
Well, it definitely was not Tom Brady. I know that. But I know he was the quarterback. Who was one of those guys that came in? May I please? Oh, I feel bad about asking. Can I please get the options?
Absolutely. Options are Damian Harris, James White, or Sony Michel.
Sony Michel, final answer.
All right, let's get our guy Carey back in here. While he's walking in, Jason, how do you feel?
I felt a lot better before you started asking questions.
Well, yeah, sometimes that's how it works. All right, our guy CD is back. He's plugging in his ears here. CD, how was the cone of silence today, buddy?
Kind of cold in there today.
Was it cold?
It's kind of warm. It was a little chilly in there.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
By myself, but it was chilly.
All right, well, better pack a lunch.
All righty.
So you got a little snack there. You might need the whole lunch.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Your category today, Carey Davis, Super Bowl champion, is football.
Okay.
No pressure.
It's always pressure
Lots
when
of
it's your
pressure.
sport.
Question 1. Which AFC team finished with 4 wins, fewest in the conference last season?
Okay. Well, the Ravens were the AFC champs. The Steelers never finished under 500. The Browns were also in the playoffs. Cincinnati Bengals final. AFC North? Ooh.
AFC team.
AFC team.
AFC.
Okay.
I didn't
say. I said final and I stopped.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
I go back and check the tape.
I
didn't say final. I said final and then I asked.
That's right.
Okay. Now I got to rethink my options because you didn't say AFC North.
No, I just said AFC.
AFC. All right. Who had the top pick? Chargers, no. AFC. Oh, my God. Give me the options.
Was it the Tennessee Titans, the New England Patriots, or the Los Angeles Chargers?
The Patriots, final answer.
Question number 2. Last season, who led the Patriots in rushing yards?
Oh, was it Ramondre Stevenson got hurt? Ugh. Oh, man. This is going to bother me. Give me the options.
Options are Ezekiel Elliott, Ramondre Stevenson, or Kevin Harris.
Oh, man. Was it Zeke? Or did Ramondre end up nudging him out? You know, he missed some games. I don't think it was. You know what? Ezekiel Elliott, final answer.
Question 3. The last time the Patriots were in the playoffs, they were blown out in the wild card round by which team?
So it would have to be with Tom Brady. Did they didn't lose to the Chiefs. Blown out?
In the question, they were blown out in the wild card round.
God. I study my New England Patriot information. Options.
Was it the Baltimore Ravens,
That's what I was thinking.
the Cincinnati Bengals, or the Buffalo Bills?
I feel like it was the Ravens. Final answer.
Final question.
Questions.
The last time the Patriots won the Super Bowl, who was their leading rusher that season?
Okay, that's...
Come on, it's common knowledge, Carey.
I got to remember when they won the Super Bowl. Which team? Was it the Falcons? No. What was the last Super Bowl they won? Thank you, James.
Can't tell you.
You clearly. James White, Rex Burkhead. They're probably going to be the options. Options.
Options are Damian Harris, James White, Sony Michel.
Okay. Oh, am I forgetting the Rams Super Bowl? You said James White, Sony Michel, and Rex Burkhead?
Damian Harris.
Damian Harris. Let's go Sony Michel, final answer. Oh, I don't like any of those.
Let's start right there. Last time the Patriots won the Super Bowl, who was their leading rusher? Jason, you took the options. You said Sony Michel. Carey Davis took the options, said Sony Michel. Answer is...
It is Sony Michel.
Sony Michel. 1-1.
Yes.
1-1 after one. Okay, let's go to question one. Which AFC team finished with 4 wins? Fewest in the conference last season. Jason, without the options, you said the Chargers. Carey, with the options, you said the Patriots. Answer is...
Well, if you can tell by the questions, it is the New England Patriots.
Yeah, he got you there.
Yeah.
Carey up 2-1 after 2. Let's go to question 2 now. Last season, who led the Patriots in rushing yards? Jason, you said Kevin Harris with the options. Carey, you also took the options, but you said Ezekiel Elliott. Answer is...
It is Zeke.
Ezekiel Elliott.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Mondre was hurt a lot.
So final question here. The last time the Patriots were in the playoffs, they were blown out in the wild card round by which team? Jason, you said the Buffalo Bills. Carey, you took the option, said the Baltimore Ravens. Answer is...
It is the Buffalo Bills.
But Jason needed the options. Jason.
You have chosen poorly.
Jason, he nudged you out, man. 3-2 today.
He did.
Good job, Jason.
Great job, Carey. I appreciate all you guys, everything you do every day. And you all keep up the great work.
Thanks a lot, buddy.
Thank you, Jason.
Take care, man. Thanks for listening. Thanks for playing. You have a good one.
Thank you. You too.
All right, Carey, attaboy.
Did you write these questions, Jamie?
No, but I have a feeling they were meant for me.
I almost blew the first one when you said AFC. I thought you said AFC. I thought you
were
said
close.
Division.
I was waiting.
I said final.
You got to the and you went, AFC North? AFC what? Yeah. You caught yourself
I
there.
did.
So good job. Good job, buddy. All right. Let's see here. Coming up next in the fast lane, is it time to DFA Brandon Crawford? Ooh, our guy Marshy getting spicy.
Whoa!
101 ESPN. time to change out your windows. Replace those old, nasty windows, or maybe they're just not efficient anymore. Please call my friends over at Window World. They are simply the best for less. And they are also the preferred window of your St. Louis Blues. Window World uses a double-strength glass that gives it a strength not commonly found in replacement windows, which means that you're getting a more durable window and a more efficient window. And by efficiency, when it's really hot outside, you know, you can feel the heat on the inside of your home. That's because your window's not doing its job properly. Same thing in the wintertime, too. And what that means is you're spending more money to heat or to cool your home. It's not necessary. Get over to Window World, get their windows, unbelievable window, and it's backed up with a lifetime warranty that covers all the parts, glass breakage, and the labor. And Window World absolutely thrives in customer service. They want to make sure that the customer is not only satisfied, but that customer leaves a good review or tells people about how great their experience was with Window World. And that's the kind of customer service you're going to get. You're also going to have an offer of 36 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. And all you have to do for that is pick up the phone, call over there, tell them Jamie from 101 ESPN sent you. That number's 314-993-1800. Again, that's 314-993-1800, or you can always visit windowworldstlouis.com. It's a fast lane here on 101 ESPN. We threw out the question right before the break. Is it time to DFA Brandon Crawford? Here's why that question's being asked right now. Is you need some production. And you need somebody that can bring production from the bench or wherever. And Brandon Crawford, look, he's done nothing wrong this year. He hasn't played enough to be, I don't want to sound rude, he hasn't played enough to be a relevant factor for the Cardinals for me to sit here and say he's not good enough to play or he can't play or whatever. But you're clearly, as the Cardinals, you're not using him. Mm-hmm. You're certainly not going to put him in there in lieu of Mason Wynn. Not unless Mason Wynn needs a day off, which with 49 games left, I can't imagine he gets too many days off based on the fact that he's been your leadoff hitter for 85% of the season so far. But when I saw this is what sparked my interest. Minor League Player of the Month is infield Thomas Saggese. Mm-hmm. Saggese's only 22. and he slashed 349, 400, 590, and ranked in the top 3 of all St. Louis minor leaguers in hits, extra bases, home runs, and RBI. He also tallied a season-high 4 hits on July 2nd that include a first career walk-off home run. Guys, that's production. That's production. And if Brandon Crawford is your backup guy for second base, shortstop, third base, like, isn't it time to maybe give some of these young guys an opportunity? Like, is it foolish for me to have, because I hate a 22-year-old coming up to sit on the bench. Yeah. I do. I don't like it. But at the same time, he might be one of my best options to give me a good bat off the bench at this time of the season.
I think the only reason why I would push back against it is because of what you just said, having him sitting on the bench the majority of the games. Younger players need to have the reps, need to continue to play. He's getting the opportunity to play every day pretty much in AAA, and so you don't want to disrupt that for an opportunity to play sparingly. Mm-hmm. Like, Brandon Crawford is a vet. He's been doing it a long time. He's had his time in the sun where he's been an all-star. He's won championships. He's done all of those things. So him sitting on the bench for me and being that role of spot duty when I need to come in, Mason's tired, maybe it's a pinch hit opportunity, whatever. I think he's more suited for that than you would a 22-year-old player who is really getting in the groove and hopefully next season can have an opportunity to make the roster. Okay, so then let's take it one step further here, because I don't disagree, but I just look at the numbers from Sajaci and I'm like, man, it sure would be nice to have the bat off the bench coming like from that guy. But let's go one step further here. Can I interest you in a Luken Baker? And keep talking. The
reason why is because right now he's got 28 home runs playing in Memphis, 69 RBI. His OBP is 342, 876 OPS. He can clearly put bat on ball, and he's a right-handed bat. And do the Cardinals he's 27. The Cardinals have shown no real interest in making Luken Baker a full-time player at the major league level. Wouldn't it be better right now to have that big right-handed bat come off the bench and Luken Baker, who, not that they don't care about, but they're not going to be worried about him just being a bench bat. Not the same as Sajaci, who's 22 years old. It's 5-year difference. Yeah. Luken Baker, you can say, listen, kid, you're coming up. We're going to DFA Matt Carpenter or Brandon Crawford. Yeah. The Cardinals would probably in that moment pick Crawford because obviously Matt Carpenter is going to be, he's a Cardinals legend. Right. And I don't see any reason. He still offers pop from the left side. Carp can still take you out of the yard. I don't know if Crawdaddy can. Yeah. But wouldn't you rather have a guy like Luken Baker sitting on your bench to where you get to that left-handed pitcher out of the bullpen, you go, okay, I got a big farm boy over here that's just foaming at the mouth. Luken Baker, grab a bat and get in there.
Well, I think, yes, that would be nice. But I think the purpose of the trade for Tommy Pham was for him to be that.
But he's clearly not off the bench right now.
He's starting, but that's because of the other players not doing their job well enough, specifically Nolan Gorman. Like, if Nolan Gorman is your everyday second baseman, Brendan Donovan is in left field, Tommy Pham is probably your bat coming off of the bench, and you have that situation taken care of. Because of Nolan Gorman not playing as much lately and having to put Donovan there, Tommy Pham is starting every day in left field. And so having Luken on the bench, maybe that's a decision they make for call-ups. So maybe that's what they're waiting on. Maybe they don't want to have to DFA anyone in order to make a roster spot for Luken Baker.
Okay, fair enough, but you need to win now, right? You can't wait. You should be trying to win now.
Too late.
Can I add a little something to you here?
Sure.
Okay. The Cardinals have trouble hitting left-handed pitching this year, right? Which is why they said we need a right-handed bat. We need to go get somebody. They've got Tommy Pham. Luken Baker is an 1,100 OPS against left-handed pitching.
Is that good?
Yeah, Carey, it's really good.
Okay.
It's really good.
All right. I think you should probably use that then. It's really good.
It's really good, which is why I don't understand why
12 home runs as well.
Why he hasn't been given that opportunity. And what you clearly have players right now on your roster that just don't play.
Right.
They don't play. Brandon Crawford is one of them. He just doesn't play. Matt Carpenter plays a little bit more, But again, I'm okay with Carp being here.
Right.
He's clearly shown that he's a leader. He certainly has the best interest of the organization in it. He wants to win. He wants to help. He's that guy.
Right.
He's your veteran guy in the locker room. Great. But you don't need two veteran guys that barely play on your roster. Both lefty bats, too, by the way.
Well, and they knew that when they signed him.
They did.
they
did, but
felt
they
like
also,
it was a necessity.
In fairness, though, they also thought that Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado would be just fine.
And they didn't know what Mason Wynn was going to be.
They
were still, the jury was still out on it. I think we were pretty much solidified in what Mason Wynn's role is going forward. So.
I agree. But again, I'll go back to the Goldie Arenado. That is the start of it all to where it caused problems offensively for the Cardinals. So if I'm John Mozeliak, I'm looking down at AAA, and Sajasi, 22, I would love to see him get an opportunity. Like, if you're going to go that route, maybe you call up Sajasi, put him at second base. Donovan goes back to the outfield. Maybe you're rotating some things like that. I don't know. But the easy one for me is Baker.
But I feel like if they were going to do that, they would have done that. They would have already done it.
I know, why wouldn't they?
I don't have Mo's phone number.
No, but Baker hasn't taken one swing.
I don't know why they haven't brought him up or given him the opportunity.
He's an MVP of AAA baseball last year. He's setting records, hitting home runs in the minors. And I understand in the minors he's hitting these pitchers who aren't as good, but what are you getting out of Brandon Crawford right now?
You're getting a guy that is a veteran on the bench that has veteran leadership.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
How's that working out for our wins and losses?
Not great.
Not great.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I think it should be something that you think about, especially since you are having so much trouble versus left-handed pitching. And he is batting, 1100
OPS against lefties.
And
no, AAA left-handed pitching, but still.
Against left-handed, and he's batting 284 against left-handed pitching. Yeah. Like, he's hitting the ball really well. He hits the ball much better against lefties than righties right now. So, yeah. And that's what you need.
That's what you're looking for.
I agree. We just solved it.
All right, Mo. You can credit me later for the idea. Yep. Let's get that big country boy up here, Baker, and let him have a couple swings. But you can have your chance to ask us some questions here. The Air Comfort Service text line is 314-399-9646. Texting your questions. Also, the Snake Pit YouTube channel, Air Alliance YouTube channel is open because we've got the Sports Six-Pack coming up next here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Jamie Rivers back with you here, joined by my good buddy Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation. And Stewie, obviously yesterday was quite a day. The market is bouncing all over the place. What does that mean in the real estate world?
Well, Jamie, right now interest rates are bouncing back up. So we're in situations where the economy is not doing well, bounce goes down, the economy is doing not so bad, it bounces back up. You got to grab it while you can. If you finance in the last year or 2 years, you ought to refinance right now. Now, you have many options on refinancing. Some people like to save money on the monthly payment. Some people like to save term. So we just took an ESPN listener. He went from a 30-year loan to a 20-year loan. The payment just went up $17 a month. He's saving 8 years on his loan. That may be an option for many. We had another ESPN listener say, I don't want to pay off my mortgage. I just want to save money every month. Bagel loan, no closing costs on both scenarios. He's saving $326 a month on the payment. If you go from an FHA loan to another FHA loan or VA to another VA, no appraisals required many times. Income doesn't matter. It's just about saving money. But you got to take advantage because you know what can happen tomorrow. It can bounce right back up. So grab it now, lock in. Rates go down later. You can always refi again.
So many great options there from our guy, Stewie. And if you have a question regarding the markets, the interest rates, anything at all, give him a call on his personal cell phone number. That number's 314-324-4440. Again, that's 314-324-4440. If you don't remember that number, you can always Google the bagel loan. Stewie, thanks for everything you do.
Have a good night, Shane.
NMLS number 226715.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cardinals lost yesterday to the New York Mets by a final score of 6-0. They only had one extra base hit in yesterday's loss. They have an opportunity tonight to take down the Tampa Bay Rays as Sonny Gray will take the mound going up against Jeffrey Springs. First pitch is at 6:45. We have our Sports Six-Pack coming up next, so if you have a question you want to send our way, do so using the Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646. Sports Six-Pack coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question. Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is now.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane, 101 ESPN. Again, the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646, Snake Pit. As well, the Air Alliance YouTube channel. It's time for the Sports Six-Pack.
Question number 1.
Let's start off with Jamie's Vacation Speedo. The Speedo wants to know, what are your thoughts on the upcoming Blues roster? Does Doug Armstrong have a card up his sleeve for one more move before the season starts?
Yeah, I don't think he does. I think that what you see is what you get right now. I think what Army's waiting to see is the development of some of the young guys. You know, what does Zach Bolduc look like? Zach Dean, Scott Perunovich. You know, you've got Matthew Kessel. You've got a lot of young guys that are wild cards. And let's not forget Dalibor Dvorsky. What does he look like at a real camp against NHL players? I think those could be the surprises for training camp. And as far as the roster is concerned, I think Army's put together a competitive roster. You know, define competitive. It means a team that's going to be able to compete most nights when they're out there. Like, are they going to win their division? No. Are they a Stanley Cup contender? Not currently as it sits. But he's got a good enough team that I think can eke their way into the playoffs, given the right circumstances. And, you know, they've got some veteran guys. So we'll see how that works out. Didn't work out last year with Kevin Hayes the way that I'm sure Doug Armstrong wanted to work out. Obviously, he moved on from him, but he brought in a couple of really big bodies. I think the Blues are going to be a bigger, more physical team, and that could bode well for them.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, there you go.
I like the physicality.
Yeah, you do.
I need more of that.
Like those big guys.
Yeah. Running into each other.
Yeah.
Reminds me of football.
Yeah. On ice.
Yeah.
They call it hockey.
Question number 2.
Guys, according to Jordan Bianchi and Evan Drelich, the Braves and Reds are slated to play a game at Bristol Motor Speedway next season. What? We get a question from the 314. If you could play any sport in any venue, what sport are you playing and where are you playing it at?
Oh, wow.
Any sport in any venue.
Wow. I'm trying to think of... I'll tell you what.
The Olympics in the Coliseum.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
And then 2028.
I think you play a football game in the Coliseum.
That would be awesome as well.
That, to me.
That would be.
How big is the Coliseum?
I don't know.
How many people does it seat?
Do they have seats?
No.
It's just bench seating. General admission?
Yeah.
The fights happen before the fight? So the Coliseum would be great. I'd love to play a hockey game, too. That'd be awesome.
So do you remember the old video game NHL Hits?
Yeah.
I believe, I could be wrong, but there was... You know, they had all these different created rinks, and one of them was based off of the Roman Coliseum.
Oh, wow.
And you could play a hockey game at the Roman Coliseum. It was pretty cool. That just reminded me of what you were about to say.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. The other place I will say that I did play a hockey game at this venue, and you'd have to Google it, but in Davos, Switzerland, they have an indoor rink and an outdoor rink. And the indoor rink, it looks like, I mean, the architecture is incredible. The wood work that's inside of it, it's like almost like Noah's Ark. Like if you look at like how beautiful the wood is and things like that. So that was a really cool venue. But right outside of that, they had a big international size ice surface that you play games outside, and it's in the Swiss Alps. Like everything around you,
fun.
It's unreal.
Yeah.
You're looking around like, is this fantasy land?
View.
Like this is not really happening right now. I've got some great pictures from some of that. I'll bring them in one day, and it's pretty cool. That was pretty neat.
Question number 3.
Oh, wait, there's one more that I played at.
Oh, okay.
We played a game in Red Square in Moscow one time.
Okay.
It was like a little all-star game. They had a rink set up in Red Square, and if you Google Red Square, I mean, they've got the cathedral there. It's wild.
Really?
Like to be playing hockey right there, and you're like right in front of the whole Russian thing going on. That was pretty cool, too. Sorry, awesome. Marshy.
All right, now to question number 3. We get a text from the 386, RIP Billy Bean. So Billy Beane passed away. What will he be remembered for when it comes to the game of baseball?
Moneyball?
Yeah, I think he's
the style that most people are playing now, how the
matchups.
how the analytics weigh so much into baseball, and some people love it, some people don't. But it was innovative when he first started it, right? It was one of the things that people got on board with and everyone felt like they had to do this because in their opinion, it was the best way to go about making money and not overspending on players and using those analytics to kind of guide you into figuring out how a player could fit in a spot.
There's a lot of people that probably refer to him as the evil entity.
Yeah.
Carey, you might be one of them.
But then there are some that are so happy and praising him because a lot of people got jobs.
And there's people that are getting voted into the Hall of Fame now because the analytics, when you look back, are like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
This guy was really good.
Yes.
And you know what? Credit to Billy Beane. He absolutely maximized everything he had with the A's. And do we have the wrong Billy Beane? Everybody's texting and saying we have the wrong Billy Beane. And we do.
There's another Billy Beane.
We have the wrong Billy Beane.
So MLB posted this.
Is the other Billy Beane still alive? Because I feel like we just kind of
killed him
off.
We're bringing him back. He is back now.
Right.
But there is another Billy Beane, Major League Baseball Senior VP for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, and Special Assistant to the Commissioner.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know there were two Billy Beans.
Yeah, I didn't either.
This has happened. This is all real time.
It's all real time. Welcome to live radio, folks. Well, we're very
Condolences
saddened
to that Billy Beane, and thank you, the other Billy Beane, for still being with us.
Yeah, and you're both very memorable in your own way.
So his Billy Beane name is without an E.
Oh.
The one that did
without the E
pass
at the
away.
end.
Oh, okay.
Because I typed in on Google.
E is silent?
The
E in the Moneyball Billy Beane is an E at the end.
Yeah, it's silent.
Yes.
Billy Beanie.
True.
I typed it in on Google and nothing popped up. But then I typed it in on Twitter and then he popped up and I'm looking at him. I'm like, that doesn't look
like the same guy.
That doesn't look like him.
All right.
Yeah.
Stay hot, guys.
Yeah, we should take a break.
Yeah, we should.
All right, we will. We're going to try and lick our wounds and recover after that one right there. We come back, we'll have the second half of the Sports Six Pack right here on 101 ESPN. With over 2 decades of family ownership and operation, my friends over at E&B Granite is St. Louis's trusted name when it comes time for renovations. In particular, to your kitchen, your bathroom, or your outdoor living space. We all know how important the kitchen and the bathroom are of the home, and now we're seeing so many unbelievable things going on with your outdoor living spaces. And E&B Granite, they offer an extensive selection of custom countertops, cabinets, and flooring that caters to all tastes. Mind you, they got a variety of colors, patterns, styles that are guaranteed to bring new life to your kitchen, your bathroom, or your outdoor space. And they're all backed by a skilled team of professional fabricators, installers, and the in-house design staff is unbelievable. They do a great job of creating that visual for you, and then once they're done with the installation, you're going to be thrilled. You're going to take pictures, and you're going to brag about it to all your friends. That's what I did. I got my kitchen redone, countertops, backsplash, all that stuff. It was awesome, and all of that thanks to my friends over at E&B Granite. All you have to do is book an appointment, 314-645-9300. Again, that number is 314-645-9300, or you can always visit enbgranite.com.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is now.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN, and we'd like to formally apologize to Billy Bean with an E for assuming he was passed on. He's not. Seems to be alive and well for now.
Yeah.
Marshy?
That's tough.
Next question, please.
The 636 texted in a picture of a monkey working a computer. Says Marsh fact checking off of Google. I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe I can see the resemblance.
Where else do you go to get your information?
I don't know.
The newspaper? Like, come on. It is what it is. Whatever.
Question number 4.
All right, we got a question from Justin. Does Nolan Arenado even want to be here anymore?
I don't know.
That'd be a great question for him. Would he be honest?
No, probably not. I guess we'll find out in the offseason.
What do you think? Realistically, what were his expectations when he was brought here? Like
what Arenado's expectations? Probably to be to be a playoff team every year and to compete for a World Series. Something he never had the opportunity to do while playing for the Rockies.
We hadn't had the opportunity to do it here yet.
No, I know, and he's been a big part of that. Him and Goldie have cooled off a couple of different times in October, and when the bats disappear at the biggest moments, it's not a great look. It's not a great thing for your team. Does he want out of here? I don't know. Maybe, but can you imagine Nolan Arenado in a bigger market like the Dodgers or the Yankees, or like he would be pulverized right now? The media would not be as nice.
Probably not, because if you're in a bigger market with bigger stars, you're not the focal point. Like here,
you're still Nolan Arenado,
but you're not Shohei Ohtani.
No,
you're not Bryce Harper.
Yeah, but then you're also going to get. They also don't care as much then too. The media, they're going to be like, Nolan, your game's really dropped off. What's the reason for that?
Yeah, well, probably.
Yeah, you were brought here to be a power bat playing third base, but that's not happening. Why? He would lose it. I think he likes being a nice, cush little market here in St. Louis, where the reporters and the media are very respectful. They do a great job, but they're not going to get in your face.
Why is it that way in other cities and not so much in some? You've played in a bunch of different places, so some cities are harder and more to the point, matter of fact, and then some cities are just like, what do you know?
So for me, it comes down to the number of media representatives, right? Because when it's a smaller number of media representatives, no matter what, you form some kind of a relationship / friendship with them. And so it's harder for them to come in one day after talking to you for, I don't know, in baseball, they're there every day.
Right.
They talk to you every single day, you go by, say hi to them. How's the wife and kids? Whatever it is. It's pretty hard for me to come in and just get in your face.
Right.
Whereas other markets like New York, Boston, like some of the bigger ones, Philadelphia, even in Canada when it comes time for hockey, Toronto, Montreal, you got a lot of people.
Yeah.
So you don't have that one-on-one relationship necessarily. So they feel way more cavalier to just be like, why do you stink? Like, tell me why you stink. And then you're like, oh, really? So I think that has something to do with it.
Yeah. I think there's a way where you can be straight, direct, and to the point without being disrespectful too, though.
Yeah, I totally agree. Hey, listen, you don't have to be a jerk to be a good media representative and to get the answer that you want.
Correct.
You do sometimes have to get pushy, though, if you're trying to build your story or you're trying to get to the bottom of things and you're getting very vague answers that have nothing to do with what you're asking. Yeah. And that's where it gets heated, is when the player or the manager or the coach start giving you fluff answers. Yeah. And you're like sitting there as a journalist of 15, 20 years, maybe even longer, and you're like, no.
That ain't it.
I see right through this. And that's where I think that's where some of the confrontations happen at that point, because the reporter knows you're giving me nothing here. You're trying to fluff this away, and I'm on to you. And that's when the little friction happens. So.
Question number 5.
Well, this is a great question from the Water Boy. What is the biggest mistake you have ever made on the radio or television?
Last segment count?
No, I've done way worse. So I've told this story before. Well, I have cussed on the air before. I've the dump button had to get pressed. I don't think that's shocking to anybody. My very first time doing TV, live television, I had an earpiece. They give you the earpiece. And I think I've told you guys this story. I'm sitting beside Pat Paris for Fox Sports Midwest at the time.
Oh, yeah.
And we're doing a game, and they give me this earpiece. I just thought it was to hear Pat better. I don't know, right? And so Pat's talking, the very first segment, and he lines up a question and tosses it over to me. And as I go to start talking, they start talking in my ear. Camera 2, your camera, ISO. Like, I'm like, so I think Pat Paris is still talking. So it comes to me, and I'm like, I look back at Pat. He's looking at me. He's like, hey, idiot, speak. Like something. He's like, I go to start talking again, and now they go back to 2-shot. Means like get both guys in the camera, but they're in my ear. I stop again and look at Pat Paris, and he's kind of like trying to nudge me on with his eyeballs, like, dude, you have to talk right now. Mm-hmm. And so I start talking, and then they're still talking, and I'm just battling through it. I'm like, I think I'm picking up a radio wave now because I know it's not Pat Paris's voice. I'm so confused. I battle through the whole segment till we get to a commercial. I look at Pat, I go, who's talking to me? And then the producer walks in, and he's like, yeah, I am. We're in the room. Like, when he asks a question, we're on a 2-shot, which is both of you. And then when he asks you, we go to the single shot for your camera. Right. And then we tell you, how much time you have because we got to keep moving along. He's like, I'm just in your ear.
Difficult.
It's really
to get your thoughts out, to know what you're saying, hear yourself talking, but hear someone else speaking in your ear, and you're like,
What? Why?
Why
do you need to know if it's a 2-shot?
Well, because where you're looking. So you ever have those situations where you see the guy on TV and like, let's say you're the camera,
and then they do the kind of the spin, and they're like,
like staring in the wrong direction.
Yes.
It's a bad look.
Yeah,
and they're trying to help you too because everything is on the clock when it comes to TV, to where like you have a certain amount of time. So if you're answering a question, they'll go 30 seconds. You keep answering the question to 20 seconds. Then we go, okay, got to wrap it up. Got to wrap. And you got to get it back to the host.
Camera 5.
Pretty much. So I ripped my earpiece out. I asked Pat Paris, and he's like, hey, listen. He goes, just
normal camera.
He goes, just ignore it for the most part. He goes, but they're really just kind of, mapping it out for all of us here.
Yeah.
And so it's funny because now, like, there'll be full-on conversations going on in my ear during the game where we got Timmy Pabst, Phil Malika, this is like our director and our producer and all that. They're talking in there, talking about cameras, this, replay that, and I can now just ignore all that and do my job.
Your job.
Yeah.
Question number 6.
From the 314, out of all of these St. Louis athletes in history, who would be your running mate for president?
Now, is this St. Louis born or St. Louis in terms of played here? Because I think there's a distinction.
What do you guys want to go with?
What do you want to go with? You want to go played here?
Yeah. I think we do one of each.
Okay.
One of each.
All right. So played here. I might take yours. Albert Pujols. I'm sorry. You probably
didn't take
right home.
You did not. Holly's my running mate for sure. Rivers and Hull 2024.
Marshy, how about you?
Ooh, maybe Kurt Warner.
That's not bad.
I like Kurt Warner. Albert Pujols was mine too.
For guys playing here,
Pujols was mine.
What about St. Louis born or St. Louis raised?
Or I think Bob Gibson.
Okay.
As well.
Gibby would probably get you some votes for sure.
I think Bob Gibson.
I'd go with Jackie Joyner Kersey.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But she's actually Illinois, but we claim her.
Yeah, we claim her.
So by getting JJK, you get both sides. You get the Missouri and the Illinois. You can't win.
And
you can't lose.
She's an unbelievable woman.
Yes.
I told you before, Bob Kersey, her husband, who was the Olympic track and field women's coach. Yep. He was our strength and conditioning guy my first couple of years with the Blues. And Loved Bobby, and Jackie would come around. We get to talk to her, and I trained with her and the track team.
Yeah.
It was so humbling, but she was awesome, right? So she'd be my pick of like St. Louis born.
St. Louis born? I mean, man, you got to go with the hometown hero, Pat Maroon, right?
You certainly would get a big portion of the voters, that's for sure.
I thought for sure you were going to go with David Freese.
Oh,
I could.
Yeah,
we're both Lafayette alums.
They are.
There you go.
Okay, I'll go with David Freese.
Yeah. There you go. The freezer. All right. Good choices. Are we good?
That's it.
All right. That's your sports six-pack. We got through that with only one massive blunder that we know of.
He's alive!
Oh, he's alive. Billy Bean with an E is still with us.
Oh, man.
All right. Will changes be implemented under Chaim Bloom, or does it still ultimately come down to ownership? We're going to talk about that next here on 101 ESPN. Londoff Chevrolet is your only place to go purchase your brand new or pre-owned vehicle. The Londoff family's been in business for over 80 years, and they want to make sure that buying a vehicle is fun. Never mind the stress and the haggling and all that. No, don't worry about that. The Londoff family wants you to have a great time. The representatives are going to take great care of you as well. And you can always be sure that you're going to get the best prices at Londoff Chevrolet. Give you a couple of examples before. Here's a new one. 2024 Trailblazer LT. Suggested retail price $21,195. The Londoff price $26,465. That's a savings of $2,730. They continue to give you the best price, and they want to make sure that you become part of the Londoff family yourself, that your kids are Londoff customers, that your friends are Londoff customers. I myself have been a Londoff customer for over 25 years, and now my kids are Londoff customers, and we wouldn't go anywhere else. They have 2 locations now to service the area the best way, which is the original one in Florissant, Missouri, and the brand new Londoff Autoplex located out in St. Peters. Both places have great inventory and state-of-the-art service centers as well to take care of all of your vehicles the right way. So please get into either spot. Tell them Jamie Rivers sent you in. If not, visit them online. It's real easy. Just go to Londoff.com or LondoffAutoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
Johnny Londoff Chevrolet.
Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN. Let's not forget we're going to revisit our mic drop theme in the next segment at 5:15, and that theme was, have the Cardinals lost their aura in the last decade? We'll be talking about that, so please get on the 101 ESPN mobile app and leave us a mic drop with your thoughts about the Cardinals and if they've lost their aura in the last decade, and if so, why? If so, when do you think it happened? Was it under the Mike Matheny regime? Was it Mike Schilt? Was it John Mozeliak? What part of it do you feel is when the Cardinals started to lose that aura of being the St. Louis Cardinals? Speaking of the Cardinals, Chaim Bloom, who is currently a special assistant, or I forget his exact title right now. I don't want to get it wrong, so I won't just say it, but he's John Mozeliak's right-hand man. And all thoughts are that Chaim Bloom is going to become the next president of baseball operations. Is this a good thing, Carey?
Well, I mean, I think having a succession plan in place feels like the right thing to do.
That's a good start.
That's a good start.
It is.
I think some of the questions or concerns were what happened in Boston. Like, how did it go from a team with Dave Dombrowski being the GM or president of baseball operations, winning championships and being a really good team, to where the Red Sox ended up before Chaim Bloom made his exit. And so I think that I can't answer that. I think he would only be the one. He would be one of the people that could answer that, but I think that's one of the concerns. And then another concern, I think you wrote on there, is it solely on the president of baseball operations, or do some of these decisions come from above?
Yeah, what's our percentage of, like, who's making what call right now?
Because if it's not my money to spend and I'm only allotted to spend a certain amount of money on certain things, that's really not a me thing. That's putting more pressure on me to say I have to work within this budget and this structure. But at the end of the day, the people that are signing the checks are essentially the ones that create the roster, because they are limiting how much money I can spend on certain players. So I think when we talk about John Mozeliak, I think he gets a lot of blame. Some of it is maybe his fault, but I don't think all of it is. And the same thing will be same for Chaim Bloom, is how much can he do with the restraints that are set in front of him.
So what people automatically jump to the opinion of is that Chaim Bloom basically dismantled the Red Sox. Mm-hmm. But he was asked to.
Right.
Ownership in Boston said to him, we need to get rid of money. We need to get rid of this luxury tax. I am not doing this anymore. So whatever you have to do, go ahead and do it. And so that's kind of tough situation to be in when your boss, whoever your boss is, tells you to do something for the company. Then you go and do it to the best of your ability, but the fan base hates it.
And they hate you.
And they hate you.
Yes.
Because you're the guy, not the owner. The owner's not sitting there at the podium for the press conference talking about why he just traded Mookie Betts for a bag of balls.
You
know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah.
So it's the president of baseball operations that has to sit there, or the general manager, or both of them, and they have to weather the storm. So I'm wondering, is Chaim Bloom the guy that just wants to get rid of money or get rid of salary and shop in the bargain bin? Or was that just what he was asked to do in Boston? And to further one more layer of this, Carey, is that why the Cardinals want him?
That's where I was just about to go. You took the words right out of my mouth.
The words right out of my mouth.
Did they hire him for that? Because you have experience in essentially gutting a roster and getting.
I can't imagine the Cardinals like, get him. I want to gut this team.
I want to get back to some normalcy. You're nowhere near where the Red Sox were, but that's another question. Like, is he brought in here because he is fiscally responsible and knows how to work within a certain type of structure, or is he brought in here to say, hey, get us the best team available with this amount of money and figure it out? You've already done it one time. Now, it didn't go well, but do it here. Make it happen. Make it work for us.
He accomplished what he needed to do.
He did, but then I think you think Cardinal fans are upset now with how last year went, how this year is going, how these last few weeks have been. Tell this team that they're gonna pull back even more money on the roster, and they're gonna be, instead of middle of Major League Baseball, they're gonna be bottom third in how much money they spend.
Can he mess it up even more?
In terms of
like people are like, well, yeah, he's going to do that, but right now you're not happy with what John Mozeliak did. You think Chaim Bloom is going to be worse?
If he spends less money, yeah. If he finds a way, to spend less money, and maybe Mo was like, I don't think that's a good idea, and maybe Chaim Bloom was like, that's what you want? Gotcha, I can do that.
One thing though that Bloom was really good at in his tenure with the Red Sox is identifying good young pitching and developing pitchers. The Red Sox did a real good job there for a little span of time of developing their pitchers and getting the most out of them. So maybe this is a strategic move too by the Cardinals, knowing that when it comes to pitching, they're way off course. They don't have the pitching lab. Like the things that they were finding out from other players in other places, that maybe they're like, okay, we need somebody who kind of knows what all this stuff is. So Chaim Bloom, welcome to the team.
Right.
And I can't imagine, I really can't, as much as we, as a fan base, are critical of the DeWitts with the way they spend money with the Cardinals, I just don't see the DeWitt family saying, by the way, Chaim Bloom, get rid, liquidate. I just don't see. I think
I don't either.
People get mad at the DeWitts, Carey, but I don't think they understand that the DeWitt family actually knows what their fan base is. They do. They do. Now, do they do everything that you want as a fan base?
No.
Well, no. But name one company that's worth billions of dollars that does everything you like.
Correct.
Is everything perfect at Amazon? No. Is everything perfect at Google? No. Facebook, it speaks for itself, right?
Correct.
You go to all of these massive entities, Chevrolet, like whatever it is, they all do things. There's certain things that you're not going to like. There's certain times in the cycle of that ownership that the company's going to have to cut costs.
Right.
There's certain times where the company's going to add salary, add cost to the business. So I don't, maybe I'm naive. I just don't see the DeWitt family welcoming in a new Pobo and saying, hey, by the way, we need to slash salary.
I think the word that you said that is often overlooked for Cardinal fans is business. Like, as a fan, we don't want to look at it as a business. Like, you get into business, you own companies, you're not in that business to lose money.
No. If I lose money, Carey, I'm going to be ticked off.
Exactly. And so you're talking about a company in a group in the DeWitts that are not in this business to lose money. They are trying to make money. And that may not sit well with fans because you want ownership groups that don't mind excessive spending to help you win a championship. And the DeWitts are like, yeah, we want to win on the field and off the field. The hell you talking about? We want to win in the pocketbooks as well as on the field. And we're going to try to put together the best roster that we can find in order to do that. And to their credit, winning does not always equate spending. Right? Spending does not always equate to winning. We've seen it. We've seen the Mets over the last couple of years say, oh, you know what? Scherzer, you got to go. You guys have to get out of here. It's costing us too much money. Right? We've seen, you talked about the Red Sox, same thing. They had to dial it back. The Yankees are a team that is notorious in spending, and they also have, maybe
they dialed it back.
They did.
They were told, get under the threshold.
We have to. And so you've seen all of these organizations say that's not the best way to go about winning. And so I can't fault the DeWitts. I think there's just a level of frustration when you won't go and spend on that one specific player. Like, if it's just one, it doesn't have to be 3 or 4 like the Dodgers, but just one guy that, you know what, the market value is here. It's a little bit uncomfortable, but this gives us a better chance at winning. I'm okay with it.
So here's what I think could happen over the next couple of years with the Cardinals. Could. I'm not saying it will. But when Chaim Bloom takes over, it actually lines up perfectly for his tenure. Hear me out.
Okay.
Potentially, I would hope Jordan Walker is on your team. Mason Wynn. You have Brendan Donovan. You've got Nolan Gorman. Burleson. You've got a whole bunch of cost-controlled players.
Right.
A whole bunch of them. And hopefully you're adding McGreevy, maybe Graceffo.
Right.
So now you've got 2 cost-controlled pitchers.
Tink Hence.
Palante.
Yeah.
Tink Hence, maybe. That lines up perfect to where Chaim Bloom could come in and actually take a sledgehammer to kill housefly because he'll have the extra money. Paul Goldschmidt off the books. Arenado, maybe a year left in his deal if he's still a Cardinal at that point. all those other
Wilson
positions.
Contreras is probably the highest paid at that time.
He will be.
And Sonny Gray.
And you'll have all these young guys with their cost-controlled money. Some of them probably making more than others, but not the $30 million to $25 million contracts. At that point, you can maybe go out and whoever's available. I don't know who the player would be in 2 or 3 years, whatever it is, right? Maybe it's Bobby Witt Jr. I'm throwing out a name.
Right.
He's a shortstop. Obviously, you got Mason Wynn. I'm just throwing out popular names. And then you can bring in that free agent because you've drafted and developed finally in the right way to where your lineup is predominantly cost-controlled players. Now, that's hopeful, and that's just a thought from me.
That would be exciting.
It would be good.
They can do that.
I think it would be great.
Yeah.
And you still have Michael Ciani, maybe, Victor Scott. Who knows what the team looks like ultimately, but it lines up to where whoever the president of baseball operations is could have the opportunity to spend some money and still keep the Cardinals under that puke point from a salary standpoint.
Right. I agree.
We'll see. John Mozeliak in charge for now with the help of Chaim Bloom and, of course, Michael Gersh. We'll see how that works out. Coming up next, we asked you for your mic drops. Again, the mic drop theme today is, have the Cardinals lost their aura over the last decade? Get on the 101 ESPN mobile app. Click on the microphone. We will get into your mic drops next here on 101 ESPN.
Hey, it's Dr. Smooshy Poops here. Just wanted to do some math with you guys. So the Cardinals are 4-6 in the last 10, having lost their last 2. We are 6 games out of the Central and 4 games out of the wild card. So my math question is, how high would I have to be to think that this team was going to play in October? Thanks.
Well, wow, Dr. Smooshy Poops.
Very valid question.
Probably pretty high.
You think?
Probably. If you are, you can always visit my friends over at Hippos in Chesterfield. They do a great job. Just saying.
I don't know. I mean, I hope that the Cardinals can figure it out. It starts today, Jamie. You know, getting on the right track.
Look at you. Who the hell are you? You left to go to the bathroom and came back a completely different person.
Tampa Bay Rays.
This is like Scooby-Doo right now. I'm going to rip Carey's mask off and find out who it is.
It's Old Man Jenkins.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope that they figure some things out. They got to figure out how to score some runs and not allow runs, and then they win games. But it's been a tough task. You think Dr. Smooshy Poops, I mean, it's possible. You know, Jamie put money on them winning the division.
They were last at that point.
Yeah.
Now they got a chance.
Second, third-ish. They're on their way.
They're going to get close enough to make me get real excited.
Yeah,
and
then you're going to be so mad.
Crush me.
Yeah. You just rather it be over with, huh?
Sometimes, yes, Carey. Sometimes that's the truth.
Marcia, what do you think?
Oh, I think maybe he, instead of inhaling said substance, maybe just, you can eat it.
Oh,
that's also a thing because you never know when it's actually going to kick in. Much like this offense, we have no idea
that's a good point.
When they are going to step up and produce on a consistent basis. So
it's a little bit frustrating.
I don't know. The math is really hard. We're not math people.
No,
not at all.
Apparently, I said 24 and minus 14 was 12 earlier. Somebody corrected the math. It's okay. Nice math, Jamie.
Yeah, happens.
Anyways, we did pose the question: have the Cardinals lost their aura in the last decade? The mic drop feature is still available. The 101 ESPN mobile app. Hurry up and get it in. Here's our guy Marsh. He can pluck that out of the internet world and play it for us on the airwaves. But Marsh, I know we got a couple of good texts too.
Yeah, we did from the 573. I think the downfall started when Tony La Russa left. They installed a yes man. He did not work out, so they hired Schilt. Well, he didn't toe the line and push back, so they shipped him out. Now they have the ultimate yes man, and the results speak for themselves. And the player development has gone to blank since 2011 as well.
So I will agree that since 2011, the player development has been substandard. I think this is why the Cardinals have put such a heavy emphasis on drafting and developing. And if you look at their current roster, they're doing much better. Mm-hmm. They have lots of players in their roster that they drafted and developed. Burleson, Donovan, Gorman, Wynn, like these are guys that are names that you drafted and you developed. So they're not totally missing the mark there. As far as yes men go, like I just want to know why people think Ollie is a yes man. Like why did they think he is? Because I have talked to Ollie, and Ollie's a guy's guy. Like he doesn't seem to me like a guy that gets just pushed around verbally or physically.
Right.
And Mike Matheny, I can't see him being a yes man either. He's he was a hell of a player during his time here. It was his first managing job ever. So that was going to maybe go sideways no matter what. And Mike Schilt, it's not that Mike Schilt just towed the line, was like, philosophical differences. Mike Schilt had a lot of disagreements with a lot of people throughout the organization, and the Cardinals just felt like it was time to move on from somebody who's butting heads with so many people.
I think you just said it, though. You said Mike Matheny, that was his first job as a manager in Major League Baseball. Mike Schilt, that was his first job as a manager in Major League Baseball. Ollie Marmol, first job as a Major League Baseball manager in the game of baseball. You went from Tony La Russa,
who had so much experience,
to 3 guys who had 0 experience managing a team in Major League Baseball. Perhaps that is where things sort of went wrong. And I'm not saying that they're...
Did you say Schilt?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Sorry.
I'm not saying that, they can't do the job. Some people would say that they can't do the job. I'm not going to say that. But I think when you compare to guys who have a ton of experience, I think those may be what a first-year guy could.
You think so, but let's just go back here. Mike Schilt got in the playoffs both years he was the manager. So what's the problem there?
That's fair.
And Ollie got into the playoffs his first year. People say, well,
That's
Albert did it. Okay, I don't care. The manager
I don't agree with that
manages the players he's given. He was given Albert Pujols, who, by the way, was terrible until the All-Star break and then came back and lit the world on fire. So let's not just act like Albert was Aaron Judge or something like that the whole season. He had a great season. I was thrilled to see him. But you still had the same guy managing the team.
Yeah. But here's the thing. All three of those guys had success right out of the gate, and then when things started to tail off, how have they done? You look at Mike Matheny. He ended up losing his job. Mike Schilt got fired, but then went to San Diego. He was having a little bit of a rough spell early on in this year. They're doing fine now, but people in San Diego wanted him out.
Right.
And now Ali Marmol is going through the same thing.
I think you see this in all sports. It's a 3-year window. If you get 5, you are truly blessed. But a 3-year window to truly show, that you have gotten this roster, got the guys you want, and making progress in a way that makes your fan base and the ownership comfortable. And if you're not making that if you're not having that progress, then teams and owners tend to move on. It's time to move on, which I don't think is fair. I think you should be given 5 years to really get the people in, whether that's college football. We see it all the time there. We see it in pro sports as well.
You have to have your draft class.
You have to, and
your recruit
really
class or your draft
implement
class.
your style of play, whatever that is. And generally, it's drafting people that fit that style, signing people that fit that style. But it takes time to kind of figure all of that out. And, for managers, that's why when people were so adamant about firing Ali Marmol at the beginning of this year, why did you give him an extension? He made the playoffs his first year. Last year was a terrible year. This year, they are knocking at the door of potentially making the playoffs. Now, you have to make the playoffs. You should make the playoffs. Next year, what does it look like? That 3 to 5 year window, this is 3. Next year will be 4. What does it look like? Are you giving this person an opportunity to really get the guys buying into what he's saying and getting the guys that he wants to play on that team?
And let's just be honest. Ollie was not given a really good rotation in any of the years that he's been here. Any of them.
First year got better with Quintana and Jordan Montgomery.
Okay, but that was after the trade
traded. Yes.
Okay.
Last year, he probably wanted to poke his eyeballs out at times.
And then this year, they went and got some veteran guys and whatnot. So Ollie's had to deal with certain things, too, that are out of his control.
Right.
Doesn't matter. He can only pitch certain guys once every 5 days.
Yep.
It's not like John Mozeliak tells him, no, pitch him twice in 5 days. All right, we asked for your mic drops regarding the Cardinals and have they lost their aura over the last decade. And we got a mic drop here from
Scotty.
Have the Cardinals lost their aura? I guess you could say that. You could say that the front office has slowly dismantled their aura or their appeal in the last decade or so. It's definitely not the same go-getting, winning first franchise that I've grew up to watch and love and support and spend my money on. They're just not operating like they have my whole life, and I'm in my early 40s. I will say this, and I can't believe I have to say this, but the city is way better off with a losing Cardinals team here in St. Louis than they would be if the Cardinals decided to up and leave St. Louis. And the fact that I even have to say that, or that's even being brought up, really tells you where this team and this franchise is right now. It's kind of sad, borderline pathetic. They really need to pick it up. They really need to show this fan base and baseball that they mean business again. Because as of right now, it doesn't look like they do. They just care about money, and that's it. Wake up. Let's go.
Well, Scotty, thank you for your mic drop. Guys, I can't wrap my brain around the narrative of the DeWitts just like money. First of all, we all like money.
I mean, who doesn't? Let's start there.
Everybody. I don't care what your job is right now. Even if you say, I just love my job making $30,000 a year. You'd love it even more if you made 100.
Yeah.
You'd love it even more if you made $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
So all things being very clear here, we all love money. And the DeWitts have so much money that even at that point, sometimes you become a little numb to it. Mm-hmm. So I just, maybe I'm crazy, Carey. I just don't wrap my brain around the narrative of all they care about is money and they don't care about putting a winning team on the field.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. I think they want to do both, which is
I think, and that's where the problem
well
is.
within your right to do that.
Correct.
Though. If you don't like it, then you own a team. Like I think
go buy a team.
Go buy a team, and it's not simple as that. But they've earned the right to spend money how they see fit. You might not agree with it, but again, we've had this conversation. If you don't like it, don't go. Right? Don't show up. It's frustrating. If you don't think that they're putting together a team that is good enough to win, then don't show up. Don't support in any way. But I think that the Cardinals have done what they felt. Like I genuinely think they've done what they feel is sufficient enough to win games and potentially win a championship. Your players have to play better. Like they have to be the ones. You can't have one extra base hit against the Mets and you lose 6-0. You can't go 3 for 25 against the Cubs with runners in scoring position and you lose 3 or 4 games. Go 0 for 7 yesterday and you lose. Like those are player situations. Those are player moments where they have to show up and be present and make a play. Make a damn play.
Yeah.
Like somebody has to. So I think, for me, I think that the Cardinals, the front office has done what they feel is going to help them win, but the players haven't produced to the level that they need in order to win.
And let's just be honest here again. John Mozeliak targeted one of the best pitchers available on the free agent market. Sonny Gray was one of the best pitchers available. And had John Mozeliak, Carey, went and spent all of that money on Blake Snell, all that money on Jordan Montgomery, and gotten the same results as those guys have provided right now, Cardinal Nation would think he was an idiot for wasting money. Could have spent that money better somewhere else. Look at these guys. They're not your number one because they haven't played that way.
Hindsight is always 20/20.
It is.
Yeah.
But that being said, Sonny Gray was one of the best pitchers available on the open market, and the Cardinals spent a really good amount of money to get him. Then they addressed other needs. They got Lance Lynn, and they got Kyle Gibson, and they added to the bullpen. They did all the things that should create a winning baseball team. The fact that Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt are a fraction of what they used to be, that, to me, again, if we're going to circle the biggest problem this year for the Cardinals, it's your big boppers are not bopping. They're not giving you that production that you need. And I think that's where the eyeballs need to go. And that's not John Mozeliak's fault because Cardinal Nation, going back, would make those 2 trades in a heartbeat to get those 2 players.
Right. I agree. It's a difficult task. It's hard. Winning championships is hard, first of all. Let's start there. Like, it's hard to win championships regardless of how much you spend, regardless of how much you're paying players and what the salaries are, whether you have future Hall of Famers or not. It's hard to win a championship in any sport. That's why you see so much emotion when a team does finally win. You see grown men crying, grown women crying, because even at the collegiate and high school level, you see people crying because there's so much put into winning and it is so difficult to do. Start there. It's not an easy task. I do believe that the DeWitts are doing the best that they think. Do you think? Do other people think? Other people might not agree with it, but I think in their minds they're making
to run.
Exactly. It's their damn business and it's their money. And so I think that they feel like they're doing what's in the best interest of their business, their family, the city. I think they truly believe that. And fans are like, no, it's not good enough. But if Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado were having MVP candidate caliber years, it would be good enough.
You'd be first in the division.
So you would be.
Yeah.
If they had the years that they had in 2022, right now in 2024, you're probably first in the division. You and the other teams are
a contender right now.
Considered a contender, and you feel much better. So again, to me, it falls back on the players. And that's why when we had that Ali Marmol cut earlier, when he said it's not a sense of urgency, you said it's about execution, and maybe it's about players not producing when they need to. But as a manager, I can't say that about my guys.
No, you're not going to say
that.
And
I'm not going to say that. So
no, I agree. One other text we get here from the 636, and I agree 100% with this. They said if the DeWitts didn't care, they wouldn't have gotten Goldie and Arenado. It's true. That's $60 million worth of paychecks right there in 2 players. If the DeWitt family was not trying to win and just wanted your money, they wouldn't have went and got those guys. Or they wouldn't pay the bill for those guys.
Correct.
So they have picked players, but the players haven't been able to execute the mission, which is to win a pennant and ultimately win the World Series. So we'll see how it shapes up here. Cardinals start a huge series tonight against the Tampa Bay Rays.
Some would say the biggest series of the year.
It's going to be a very big series. I have a feeling that we're going to talk about that in the next segment as we got Beat the Streak and biggest question of the day next here in the Fast Lane.
Hey, it's Carey, and people are talking about Window Nation. Their customer, Vicky, says, we could not be happier. This was a great experience. She's just one of over 33,000 five-star reviews that they have. And that's because Window Nation is all about value. And this August, they're giving you a great value during the Window Nation anniversary sale. Right now, buy 2 windows, get 2 free. There's no limit to how much you can save. You could save even more with no interest, no payments for 24 months. If you act now, you'll get an additional $250 credit as well. Window Nation values your satisfaction in their quality, service, and affordability. That's why they stand behind their windows with a lifetime warranty. Window Nation also was recently ranked highest on Forbes' list of best window installation companies, so you can trust Window Nation for high-quality, affordable windows. Stop paying more than you have to. Hurry up today. Sale ends August 31st. Schedule a fast in-home estimate right now at 866-90NATION or visit them online at windownation.com. That's 866-90NATION or visit them online at windownation.com.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cardinals are looking to bounce back and get into the win column tonight. They lost yesterday 6-0 to the New York Mets. They'll take on the Tampa Bay Rays tonight. Sonny Gray on the mound going up against Jeffrey Springs. First pitch is at 6:45. If you missed anything from today's show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. Just head to the podcast page. You'll find all of our interviews and full shows there. And it's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. We have Beat the Streak and Biggest Question of the Day coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh. And this Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
I want to hit baseballs.
All of my successes depend on me.
You're ready to hit.
The hits just keep on coming.
And his first big league hit is a bullet up the middle.
It's a fast lane here at 101 ESPN. Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh, Jamie Rivers. It's time for Beat the Streak, and we're very fortunate today. We head out to the 101 hotline, and we've got from the text line, FedEx Brian. Brian, how we doing, bud?
Fellas, nice to hear y'all again. What's up?
What's up, my friend? What's up? You know the routine for this game, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, Marshy, give us a little standings update here.
All right, so Jamie, you have the lead right now.
Oh!
A streak of 3.
Ooh-wee.
Carey is in second with a streak of 2. Anthony got a base hit because of Tyrone Taylor.
And was it ever?
Tyrod's cousin.
Maybe. Did some damage yesterday for the Mets. I'm to 0. And unfortunately for Chris, Wilson Contreras did not get a hit. But that means FedEx Brian is here today looking to create his own streak.
All right. All right, so I'll go first. I will make this easy. Tommy Pham.
Okay.
Sticking with my guy, Tommy Pham.
I was looking at this lineup for the Cardinals, and, it's kind of hit or miss, literally. I'm going to go Yandy Diaz. Tampa Bay Rays. Sorry, Brian.
I feel like that touched a nerve there. Marshy?
Let's see what Anthony wants for today.
That's right.
Anthony is picking Mason Wynn. He also had Diaz as his first option, but Mason Wynn is his second option.
All right, so
we'll have Brian go next.
All right, Brian, you're up, bud.
Let's go with Burley.
Big Burley. All right. FedEx Brian with Burley. Andrew?
I'm going to go with Nolan Gorman.
Oh, really? I thought about that one, too. I figured he might be a little bit upset sitting on the pine for the past couple of weeks.
I hope he's really mad. He swings really hard and crushes baseballs.
That's a good pick.
That's a great pick.
Yeah, we'll see.
Right, Brian. So let's hope that Burley gets a hit, and we'll get to talk to you again tomorrow.
All right, guys. Y'all take it easy. Be safe going home.
You too.
Thanks,
Drive
Brian.
safe, my man.
Later.
All right, that was Brian, FedEx Brian. We appreciate him very much. Now it's time for Biggest Question of the Day.
It's time for the Fast Lane's Biggest Question of the Day.
Well, Jamie, you teased it last segment.
Yeah, I did.
The biggest question of the day, and no, this is no joke. Carey Davis actually came up with this in the office because this truly is the biggest question of the day. And is this truly the biggest series of the season so far?
Good job, Carey.
I did.
You did. Tell us why you did. Why you think it is.
So the Brewers are taking on the Braves, and the Pirates are taking on the Padres. Both of those clubs are pretty solidified in their playoff race. Talking about the Padres and the Braves. So here's a chance if you're the St. Louis Cardinals to maybe gain some ground and separate yourself from the Pirates if the Padres keep playing as well as they are and the Braves continue to play as well as they are. maybe you can make some ground up on the Milwaukee Brewers and get yourself some distance from the Pirates. So this truly is the most important series of the season. Agree or not?
I do agree, and I want to look at this though. I want to look at who we should be cheering for, because with all of those teams being right there in the wild card race. So the Padres are playing who?
The Padres are playing the Pirates.
Okay. I would almost rather see the Padres sweep that one.
Okay. Because I
think they're already in, and you know what I mean? Like,
they're playing
get the Pirates
really well.
to get out of the way a little bit.
Start separating yourself.
And then the Braves are playing who?
The Brewers.
The Brewers. I'd definitely like to see the Braves sweep that one as well.
There you go. Now, and then you, as the Cardinals, you get a sweep, and what, are you 2 games back at that point of the division?
Yep, probably.
What are we, 6 games back or 4? I mean, 6 games back or 5?
I think it's 6 games back.
All right, well, we'll cut it in half.
6. So you'd be 3 games behind the Brewers at that point, and then you'd probably be 1 or 2 games back of the wild card, too, which is crazy to think about it that way. So yeah, Carey, I would agree with you that this is quite possibly
the most important series of the season.
Oh no! Yes. The glasses go on.
Right, we got to change something up, guys. These glasses, I don't know if anybody's seen them in the past month, right? And this team, I'm at a point right now. I'm at a low spot right now, right? I'm pulling any positivity that I can for the St. Louis Cardinals team. Well, I'm going back to last year. The Rays' overall record against the Cardinals are 12-10. Last year, however, 1-2. That means the Cardinals won that series. I'm going to look at last year. Not a great year for the Cardinals, but they won that series, and that's what we need out of the Cardinals this series. We need a series win, preferably a series sweep. That would be nice, but we need to start winning series. And if you're telling me that this is truly the biggest series of the season so far because of everything that you just said, I'm looking back to last year because that's all I have to pull from right now, right?
Yeah.
We like taking numbers. We like going back years back.
If need be.
Especially if you're...
To prove our case.
If you need someone to pinch hit, we're going back to 2019, right? I don't care what the numbers say.
That didn't work out well. Let's not do that one.
Carey, I have the red glasses on.
Sorry.
No negativity here.
Yeah, Carey, what the hell's wrong with
1-2 last year. That's a series win for the Cardinals. I see it happening again.
Yeah. Let's go for the sweep.
Oh, God.
How you feel? You okay?
Well, now I feel a little different.
Feel a little nauseous?
Yeah. It's like getting on a roller coaster. You're on the Ninja at Six Flags, and there's that beam that you think you're going to hit your head on every single time. But you don't.
Yeah, but you don't. But it's in play.
It's in play.
All right, that's Beat the Streak. Biggest question of the day. When we come back, we'll wrap up the show with Bet the Board, 3 stars of the day, criticisms, and compliments right here on 101 ESPN. Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN. Well, if you're looking for something to do on Thursday, why don't you come hang with me over at Helen Fitzgerald's. We're going to have a great night over there. Stella Artois and Hot Ones are partnering up for hot wings and hot questions over at Helen Fitzgerald's. It's going to be the finale. So there are going to be teams up there that have done this before. There's been 4 rounds. This will be the last round, and they compete. There's 3 rounds of 5 questions, and each question, if the answer is correct, they don't have to dip their wings into all of the hot sauces. If they get it wrong, each time they get it wrong, the sauces get hotter and hotter and hotter. But it's okay. We've got Stella Artois there to wash it all down. It's a lot of fun. It's an amazing night, and Helen Fitzgerald's, they do it right. They've got the stage there, great staff, great food, and it's going to be a lot of fun over there. And then if you just want to show up and be present, there's attendance prizes available as well. I promise you'll have a great time. Again, that's this Thursday from 6 to 8 p.m. at Helen Fitzgerald's. If you need more information, for whatever reason, you can always visit 101ESPN.com. All right, boys, time for Bet the Board. Marshy, standings, please.
All right, gentlemen, it looks like Anthony has 0. I have 0, and I believe you two are tied right now.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
All right, take that back. Carey, you're 3. You have 3 points.
Nah,
You're undefeated.
I didn't think I had lost yet.
You have not lost.
I didn't think I had lost.
What am I, 2-1?
Yeah.
2-1.
Well, I don't like that as much.
Give me Shohei Ohtani. 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. He is minus 150.
I hate you.
He hasn't, but here's the thing. I have picked this bet often.
And
he is the only one that has not hit it yet.
Well, he's due.
It's the due factor.
Carey, he'll get it for sure.
Thank you.
I'm confident for
Appreciate
you.
it.
All right, I'm going to strikeouts. My guy, Sonny Gray, 6.5 strikeouts. I'm going with the over, and that's at minus 146. So Sonny Gray over 6.5 strikeouts.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Rays tonight on the money line. Maybe we can reverse some things here, and the Cardinals can pick up a win. I had Nick Castellanos to hit a home run last night. Did not come through, unfortunately. He hit a triple, hit the top of the wall. So it looks like the market is okay. Anthony is picking Luis Castillo over 6.5 strikeouts tonight.
All right. Okay, well, also, if you missed anything today, download the podcast. We talked about the Cardinals and their aura over the last decade. We talked about Chaim Bloom replacing John Mozeliak, Nolan Arenado, what we think about his play recently. We talked about Paul Goldschmidt and the possibility of a contract extension. A lot of great things, and all you have to do is download the podcast from the 101 ESPN mobile app or the 101ESPN.com website. All that brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto. Marshy, what do we got?
All right, let's get to our 3 stars of the day before we head out of here. Our 3rd star of the day is going to go to Charles Barkley for sticking it to the man.
Yeah, boy, Big Chuck.
Congratulations. Phone call, a text conversation.
Yeah, my boy, Chucky.
2nd star of the day goes to Dr. Smooshy Poop's math problem.
Yeah, we got to get better at math here.
Yeah, or just something else.
Or not.
And our 1st star of the day goes to people with the same name in the same sport.
Yeah. Indeed. If you missed that, download the podcast again.
Check it out.
Billy Bean passed away. We'll let you figure out which one it was. I was here in the Fast Lane today. All right, Cardinals, Tampa Bay Rays. That series starts tonight. Dylan Carlson back at Busch Stadium as a visitor this time. Sonny Gray on the bump. We'll see if the Cardinals can end their drought here. And we'll be back tomorrow. We'll still be missing Anthony. He'll be out on vacation for the rest of the week. But Carey and I will be back here with my guy, Marshy. We'll recap whatever happened in Cardinals Nation tonight. But have a great night.